Oh yeah, maybe you have to give him permission if you're the host.
Oh, I pressed the button now. Some shit's happening. I can't see it anywhere, Ollie.
40 episodes of this, Ed. 40
episodes. And I'll record, either way, we're recording the gallery. It says 40 minutes thing on it again. So what I will say, Ed, is that we still haven't figured out how to get past the sort of limit. So we have to stop and start again a lot, which is great because it stops Ollie talking about Marvel for an hour at a time.
Oh, bring it! I'm on for this. No.
That's a foolish thing to say.
I think I'm still one film behind at the moment. I've still not seen. Is it Shang-Chi? That one, Shang-Chi. The Ten Rings. I've still not seen that one. But dare I admit to Ollie that I watched Far From Home last night for the first time.
Oh God!
And I was like,
I mean,
no.
Fair enough. Like a lot of people,
There's two of them.
The BBC is showing Far From Home for Christmas, and it's a big thing. But so you haven't seen No Way Home? Yeah, I assume.
But some wonderful people uploaded the entire film on YouTube. So
they have. Yeah.
I think I've accidentally seen bits of it as well without unwittingly.
Wait, can we swear on this thing on this podcast?
Yeah, regularly do.
That's fine.
Yeah. This is not a child-friendly podcast.
You know what? I regularly want to make it so that it doesn't swear because that's more professional. But we never
it slips out.
It's usually me as well, and I'm supposed to be the professional.
It's usually
one.
Alex. Yeah,
it's almost always me. And I when I listen back to it, and I'm sure when Mason listens back to it, not when Ollie does because he doesn't, but when me and Mason,
I listen back occasionally. I listen back to the bits I want to hear back.
If I just did that, I wouldn't listen to it.
What bits are they? Because
I wanted to listen back. I wanted to listen back to how the conversation we had about my song lyrics turned out and stuff like that.
Lyrics.
Oh, Edward. Oh,
what I've missed so much.
Oh, Ollie, we found Ollie's. How old were you, Ollie, when you wrote the songs?
Oh, probably about 16,
21.
17.
Song lyrics from when he was 17.
Yeah.
Egg? Ed? Egg? I they said Meg because I'd spoken to Meg about 10 minutes ago, and I was like, no, his name's Ed, and I went Egg.
Should we do a synchro clap?
We definitely should do a synchro clap, Oliver. This is where I mean, I don't know why I'm explaining to, but Ed is like a professional.
I haven't really prepped Ed on what the hell's going on, but go with it.
That was
Mason, you were the worst one then.
Me?
Hang on. 3, 2, 1. That's fucking. I've already swore. There we go.
You nailed it.
Fucking
nailed it.
Are we going to have to put a thing on here saying the views of Ed Buxton are not representative of the British Broadcasting Corporation?
Don't hire Ed for future screenplays. He's really sweary. He's an aggressive drunk.
He's an aggressive drunk.
Don't look him in the eye.
Commission me.
Right. Well, I mean, that's as good a place to start as any, I think. So, hello!
Ed, you're our first guest on the podcast.
What is he doing? He's hijacked!
There's never a plan, is there?
There's never a plan. I was going to say Merry Christmas, because it is Christmas time, and I was going to say, Ollie, what have you got me for Christmas?
I got you a card that's on the post, but that's
it's on the post.
Me and Mason have bought you a Christmas present, Ollie.
Not in the post. It's on the post.
It's on the
post. He left it on the postman.
He left it.
Take this and do what you will with it, Jeeves.
Left it on a post box. He couldn't be bothered to put it in.
I just ran away and just yeah.
What was that? This is amazing.
For the benefit of the listener,
dude. Yeah.
Put it on there.
Like slam dunk. Just like thinking, mate, this is great. I'm never going to top this. Yeet! And then right off there. So
okay, so
hang on, I've got a card here. I've just got images of him like la la la, yeet, and I'm walking off and like see ya.
So you'll notice there's a voice here that isn't usually here, and you'll know he's not usually here because he's not had the life drained out of him by this fucking podcast. Mason's just recoiled from that. We've got our one of our bestie mates in the whole wide world, who we've talked about for several podcasts at this point. Last time it was about I think it was 2 days after your film had been shown, so we were gushing about we were very nice. But we'd like the Rogue Specs would like to invite another erstwhile Spec from back in the day when we were all almost children. I mean, we weren't, but it feels like we were.
We weren't broken by the pressures of post-uni life.
Yeah, we hadn't known Ollie for almost a decade at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
But Edward Buxton,
coming up.
Screenwriter extraordinaire, late of of a short film from the BBC that we mentioned last week or last month. When was the last time we recorded? In the days gone, in the before times, November time. Who wrote Finger Prick? That's my intro, Ed. Hello, how are you?
Thank you very much. This feels very official suddenly. I'm not
don't let it be official, Ed. I'm just.
It's not an official thing. Like, it's just like
I just felt like we should cram a little bit of professionalism in before I went back to drinking my Ollie mug.
Every now and then we have to remember this is a podcast, and then just like insert little bits where we talk to the audience that what might exist in some existential way.
Did I tell you? I won't use any names, but I went to the Lincoln Christmas market and I met someone who worked for BBC Radio Lincolnshire, like in a really professional capacity, and she met me through a friend who was also on the audio course, who does like audio stuff, and she was like, "Oh, do you still do audio stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do it all the time. Me and my friends, we do a show together." And she went, "Oh, what's it like?" And I immediately thought, I cannot show you this because you're an actual professional. You work for the BBC. I haven't told the lads this yet, but this is as good a time as any.
No, this is a good time to tell.
You never know, mate. I mean, thanks to this podcast, I got my job.
You did, which is infuriating to me. I mean, I'm very proud of you, but at the same time, I'm getting paid 19 grand a year.
Congrats.
Yeah. The BBC really needs 3 white males talking about.
Yeah, we need 3 more of that.
Yeah, not enough of that.
Not enough of that at all. You know what? Another podcast with most of it. I mean, now we've got an extra person on, which is lovely. But I mean, my friend Una likes pictures of us, me, Ollie, and Mason together because she says we just look like the same person but in different font. Anyway, it is Christmas time. We have invited a wise man on.
Yes,
I'm sipping Bailey's hot chocolate from a mug with Ollie's face on it. We're recording the video again. Whether or not it goes on anything is anybody's guess because we record video a lot. It never happens, but
we
Ed,
never have.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about your film? What you've done? Your film? What you've been done in with the BBC?
What
please?
I made.
Yeah, I think what you made. Yeah, that actual art you made while we've been fucking around with this.
So it's Finger Prick is a short film, and it's about a character called Lexi who sort of has a moment of personal crisis in his family bathroom, and I've now forgotten the synopsis, but it's great. It's on the iPlayer page. Go and check it out.
We can fill in some of the synopsis, I think.
Yeah, he basically just has he's alone in the bathroom with a HIV home testing kit, has a moment of personal crisis, but he's not alone. That's the gist of the film.
And it stars, I know the last name's Llewellyn, I can't remember his first name.
Dylan
Llewellyn. I was thinking Daniel.
Yeah.
Who, for those in the know enough, is the wee English fella from Derry Girls.
Yeah.
Who else was in it?
Edward Crook, who plays Lex. Dylan plays a character called Alexi. Edward plays a character called Lex. And then we've got a voiceover actor or artist called Roberta Bellicom, who voices Mum. And you don't see her. She's she's there, but she kind of comes in and out of the film. So,
was she on set at the time when you were filming, or was that all done in post?
No, all done post. So it was a combination of Luke J. Collins, who's my producer and DOP. He was reading some of her lines, and then I was reading some of her lines as well. So we filmed in a real bathroom. So the story is set in a bathroom. It takes place in a bathroom. It doesn't actually leave the bathroom, which is quite nice. And to begin with, because it was quite small, so we're having to kind of figure out where to kind of point the camera and where to go.
I did think that from your behind the sets pictures.
Yeah.
I was like, that looks really awkward to film in.
I'm in the shower. So the second half of the day after lunch, we went back in because we filmed it all in a day. I was then in the shower with all the equipment that they were giving me, and I was just sort of like, this is so heavy. Like, I was holding a monitor. I was like, this is so heavy. And I can't make a noise. I literally had to stand so still. And we filmed it in August, so it was really hot.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So we were cooked, which is why I'm in like shorts and all the photos. It was really bizarre in December. But I was like, it's so hot in here, and obviously this was pandemic, so we all had to wear masks apart from the actors.
Yeah.
So
August last year, right?
Yeah,
August
2020.
last year, yeah, 2020.
Cool.
Yeah,
that was a hot one as well, wasn't it? August 2020. I remember it well. In fact, we were recording the podcast in a porta cabin. Do you remember that? It was exceedingly hot. The hottest day of the year, mid-August, and we were like, "Why are we doing this in a metal box?" So we feel for you, Ed. We feel for you.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Like when you script this thing, you're like, it'll be in a bathroom. This was like a few months before. So I wrote the initial draft finger prick January last year. So this was months before any of this kicked off. So I was like, it'll be fine. This COVID thing will blow over. No. So then I was like, and then obviously, when you're on set the day of, you're like, oh, this is actually happening. And I've actually got to stand either outside the bathroom in another room or in the bathroom somewhere. It's like, you don't think about it, then it happens. You're like,
no,
oh shit, I actually wrote this.
But it's so wonderful that because we've said on this before, we haven't got into detail, but we all, me, Ollie, and Mason, and you met. You were in a film group before me. I was the fifth spec to join, but you made films.
Changed the name.
Yeah. You had to change your ident at the end of the film. I remember that. I remember you complaining about it.
It was originally 4 Specs Productions. And
4 Specs, which was us, you three, and Bryony.
Yes.
And
our beloved producer.
Yeah, and then you harpooned me from during a party, as I recall, when Mason was dressed as a snooker referee by the looks of him. Do you remember that? I can't remember what the party was. It was like a 1920s party.
Was it Gatsby?
That's what it was. It was a Gatsby themed thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was a snooker player, and you were Count Arthur Strong.
I did not intend to look like Count Arthur Strong, but since then I've gone, that is Count Arthur Strong that I turned up as.
Yeah,
the little pencil moustache that Emma, mutual friend Emma, drew on me. But it's, I love. First of all, when you were doing the stuff with the theatre as well, Ed. But it's always nice to see someone that you work with doing well. No, not that we aren't. I think we're all doing it well in our own way. But it's nice to be like, my friend was on the BBC last night. You know.
Oh, thank you.
I know it's been great.
Yeah.
We've been really having fun with it. We stayed up to watch it. And there was now just because of remembering it, I've got the song in my head again. But it was on immediately after what was it? They Shall Not Grow Old. Is that what it was called? Yeah, the Peter Jackson thing. And it ends with Mademoiselle for Marmoteers Parlez-vous, and it's a 10-minute long credit sequence where we're waiting for your film to come on, and that song just repeats itself. I said to Mason, I think I might die.
Proper earworm.
We stuck around. We stuck around and we watched it.
Can I just say, on the note of those credits, everyone that watched the broadcast, I've got a few of the friends that did as well, and they were all like texting me going, when is this credit sequence going to end? And I was
it goes on forever.
Yeah, it's odd because TV credits normally speed up the credits of the film, don't they? As well,
I think it's because it's BBC
not
4,
BBC
isn't it?
4.
Yeah.
Not BBC 4.
But it's just it kept going on. I was like, how many more like lyrics can they fit in this song? It's going on forever. But it was very funny. It's very rare that it's only really Doctor Who, which we will get to. It's only really Doctor Who where all of us watch something at the same time, really, nowadays. Or like when England were, we mentioned on the pod as well at that time, when England were playing, we all sort of watched at the same time. But it was just weird for the three of us to be watching. I think it might have been only been me and you actually, Mason. I think Ollie watched it later on. I might be wrong.
No, I watched it at the same time.
Oh, at the same time. You just didn't complain as much as we did. But we were just going, these credits, they're not stopping. I hadn't even watched the film. I was just like, I'm watching the credits for something I haven't watched.
I know. I was leading on to that. I was so like in a different headspace. I was like, oh my god, this is actually happening. Like it's going to be on in a minute. But then I had that horrible thing of like, what if it's not on until the end? This program is an hour long, and I could be sat here going like, oh god. I mean, I didn't have to work the next day, thankfully, but I was like, what happens if it doesn't come on? All my friends are tuning in.
It was the second one,
wasn't
it?
They didn't tell you what order they were going to be in.
I didn't get the running order, no. So I got an email like the week before saying, congratulations, it's going to be broadcasted, with all the films like listed, but I didn't think they were in the actual order that they would be shown, and they weren't. Yeah. So I was just like, well, I could be here till nearly midnight, and it'll just be waiting for it.
Well, the other ones I watched were good though. I enjoyed quite a few of the ones that were in it, but I am glad that yours was good because I was teaching the next day, so I was like, I hope it's not on at 11, Ed, because I've got to go to bed.
Yeah, that was it. Loads of people were like, I'm going to bed if it's not on like after 11. So the minute that I've forgotten the name of the host now that did it. The minute that she mentioned it, by name, I was like, oh my god. Yeah. So I was just like, this is amazing. So I was like, okay, she's mentioned it by name, and we haven't even started yet, so it must be like second in the running order. Yeah. So Chizzy, there we go. That's the name of the host. So when Chizzy was like finger prick, I was like, oh my god, finger prick. She's mentioned it by name, and we'd had a very brief conversation on Twitter a few days before. So I was just like, this is mad. This is actually mad. This is happening. So. Yeah, but
Did you have a viewing gathering of people?
I just with family. I haven't had like a proper one yet, so it would be fun. It would be nice to like get friends together and do like a proper viewing party, because it's definitely worth it. Or out the red carpet.
That'd be good, especially after. Well, I say after this is all gone. You know what I mean? After it's less shit than it is now. It'd be nice to have a gathering where we're all. Where Ollie can turn up in his best tuxedo with that hat on.
With his hat,
we can get around.
Maybe it's not during Christmas, but we'll see.
No, I'm saying during August you got to wear the hat. I'm just saying.
Oh, of course, yeah.
In like full Santa gear, sweating.
Ho ho ho! I've come to watch your film.
Ho ho! I love talking about film. I really enjoyed it. I like the film. It was good. I noticed that the BBC also shared it on their socials for HIV awareness day or
World AIDS Day.
Quite good.
It's it's been mad because I was trying to approach like Terence Higgins Trust as well about that and Live AIDS Foundation or National AIDS Trust. Sorry. And I was like, oh, they've got It's a Sin. They're just like repeating that, so they're kind of covered. So I did approach them, but I've had nothing back. Which is
bloody Davis, bloody Russell T Davis.
I know. Honestly, that was another thing. Like when I did Finger Prick last year, I was like, and then I saw It's a Sin in January. I was like, I'm fucked. Like people are going to compare it to It's a Sin. Like I don't know. And I remember watching one of the early episodes, and I was like, please don't have a bit in the bathroom with a test, because I will cry if that's what happens.
It's one of the weights that a writer has to carry, isn't it? That someone will get there before you do. Go, no, that was my idea.
Just have to be Russell T Davis as well.
Yeah. He should fuck off back to Doctor Who, that guy.
Yeah. Well, he is. But I really want to know what you guys think, like what you thought of the film, because I haven't gotten people.
Loved it.
I think it was great.
I really liked its intimacy. It felt very personal. Like I gathered that it came from a place that was very personal to you, and I felt that in the story and the intimacy of it. The portrayals were really good as well. Like you shot it really nicely as well. Like used a lot of close-ups and stuff like that, so you really get involved in the scene and the characters, and it just felt that like you were involved in a sort of secret conversation, basically. Yeah,
it felt intimate, but it didn't feel cramped, which, given what we know about how you filmed it, is quite a thing to pull off, really. To me at least. I think it transcended a little bit the subject matter for me. Like, obviously it was a very important subject about what he's waiting for, but it sort of made me think about how often massive life-changing things happen in bathrooms that you can't tell. You know what I mean? The sort of like, you could extend it to sort of other illnesses or pregnancy or things like that, all that. And I was watching it thinking, wow, it's like a psychiatrist's sort of office, but with a bath in it.
And the time frame, like How long was it in total again? About.
So they on the BBC broadcast they didn't include the credits, but if I've got the whole film with the credits, which is about 3 minutes and 45 seconds roughly.
Exactly.
So,
well, like within that, just to cover the subject matter and do it justice is an accomplishment.
We've done 2-hour episodes of this that haven't got as much in it.
Yeah. No one knows who we are.
No one knows what we're trying to say, who we are, why any of this is happening, you know. And then, what was it, 3 minutes and 45, whatever it is you said. You managed to get all that emotion and sort of story and, you know, the whole sort of, not so much show don't tell, but sort of like you didn't have to go, well, actually, I've got this because blah, 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 blah. You know, you leave it to the audience to actually figure out because, you know... Yeah. You don't treat the audience like idiots.
As someone that's watched a lot of short films through the Norwich Film Festival and the various other things, it's nice to also see a short film that's actually short.
Yeah, there's truth to that, yeah.
Because there's so many short films that are basically mini TV episodes that just sort of try to cram way too many ideas in one, but you guys...
Like the Fantastic was, you mean?
Oh, essentially, yeah.
I'm joking.
I love that film.
I love that film. I love the time we had making it.
I love the time that we made it. Yeah. I'll never take that back. Yeah.
My dad showed just on the subject of that. My dad showed up here the other day. It's actually out of shot now, but he'd bought himself a new drone, but doesn't know how to use it. And he went, "Can you go and use this like you learned how to use the other one?" And I said, "Yeah, but back then, Dad, I was making a film. I could do it then. Whereas here, I live in this sort of town." But it did make me think about it. How remarkably lucky we were making. For those not in the know, we made a film called The Fantastic about a pair of a magician and his brother and girlfriend and also rich benefactor, and then there were shouty people in the park. I'm not going to say all the people that were in it. And we did a drone shot before it was mainstream. We did drone shots before it was cool. Right. Everybody does it now, but we were the talk of the town.
Everybody does a student film now.
We were when we did that, people were like, "Oh, that's a very nice drone shot." And I'm like, "It's a good film as well."
Really,
I mean,
we had really good sets. We had really good costumes. We had good visuals.
He said sets then, SETS. That's what he said. Everybody, it wasn't that kind of film.
I still have that outtake of him massaging one of the actors. So
I forgot about that.
We can easily cancel him.
I know you said sets, but I was like, "Whoa, yeah, really good."
Most innocent boy in the world.
Very long and extensive.
It's also cancelable.
Morning, noon, and night. Very good sets. It was. We were all knackered by the end of it, and all a bit ill.
We were.
Oh God, we were. Oh, we all caught some sort of bug at the time, weren't it? It was just like. Yeah, we should have probably worn masks.
I think I caught it first because I'd gone home, not to go into too much detail, but I'd gone home for personal reasons. And I came back and I was on lots of Sudafed, and then I got better. And then I remember the actors raiding my bag and having all of my Sudafed, like a dangerous amount of it. And I was like talking to one of them, I was going, "You cannot eat that much Sudafed." None of you seem to remember this, but I remember saying to Bryony, I was like, there were two full packs of Sudafed in that bag when I got here, and they're all gone. And there's only like 3 actors here today.
Oh my God.
Can I just say, if any of you are listening, which I know you're not, but I'm not suggesting that you stole my Sudafed to make crystal meth, okay?
But you were a bit hyper in one day. We had to calm you all down.
Yeah. We had to get the stun gun out and just be like, let's put him to sleep in the...
Oh God, there was one point... Yeah, there was one point where they were really corpsing like a lot.
Yes.
Like, on a particular scene, it was just like... Yeah, it was great.
I remember going through them and you getting really angry. I was like, "What's going on, guys? What the hell's going on?"
Was that in the Broadbent Theatre?
I think so. I think it was. I think everyone went a bit funny.
It was an interesting building, that
tiredness or something.
Do you remember when the smoke machine just suddenly started midway through a take? Then Bryony went to turn it off, and the way I was on the floor holding the boom mic, and she landed on the boom mic and quite frankly impaled me on it. I've still got a bit of a scar on my lower belly, but I was just... You can't see it in that clip, Mason, but if you listen to the clip back where this smoke machine goes off, you just hear me go... just as I'm slowly killed by a road boom.
Oh, God.
Good times, though.
That film was so good. And also...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, what you say, Mason?
I was going to say, it sounds like there should be a behind the scenes tell-all documentary called
about the
Sets.
Fantastic. Oh, Sets.
Sets, drugs, and sausage rolls.
Sets.
There was a sausage roll shot that Ollie was
Sets,
very
drugs, and
adamant
sausage
that
rolls. Right, well, there's the episode title.
Can
Hang
I
on.
just say, on the topic of Alex and his medication,
Oh,
do you remember
God.
when we pulled up? No, this isn't shady, but do you remember when we pulled up at that old Sainsbury's on Carhome Road? And I literally turned to Alex and I was driving. I was like, Alex, please, just get me anything. I feel awful.
Oh,
And you're like, what do you want,
yeah.
Ed? And I was like, Beecham's, like, blue. Take my money, like, just go.
It was a surreal time. I look favourable. I think I genuinely love filmmaking because it's carnage, especially if it's with your mates as well. But it's carnage and it's like damaging. But then at the end of it, you're like, oh my God, that was great. It's like, I imagine it's. I mean, it's nowhere near the same. But I imagine it's like when you climb Everest or something. You like, and it really hurt. You like, you've ruined your body, but you're like, oh my God, we did it. You know.
Yeah.
Because I remember once that I had to reverse the car for you because we didn't figure out. You couldn't figure out how to use the reverse gear. And my uncle had exactly the same car, and you'd got out, and I was like, I'll just do it. And then Bryony came out and went, you're not supposed to drive the car.
Yeah, and then I know. I won't say that. I won't say what I was going to say. But I was like, there's a scene when we were filming at Harlexton that comes straight back into my mind.
Oh, there's a few in my mind. Is it when someone destroyed the camera?
No, that was me, nearly me. That pulled it over. And
no, that was a different time.
Oh no, I'm talking about when we got a telling off. I'll leave it there.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, that day. So
that was the day. We have talked about that day before because we talk about how Ollie's mum basically is the best caterer on earth.
Really good.
Do you remember that?
We actually talked about that on last year's Christmas one.
Did we really?
The other day. Yeah.
Yeah, she said you listened to that the other day. See, look, Ollie, Mason listens back. Look at that.
I put the work in.
Well, Mason likes the sound of his own voice, doesn't he? So.
Can't deny that, Ollie. Can't deny that.
He's got you there.
Anyway, that last day we had when Alex, it was me, you, and Bryony in the car, and I was driving the three of us. I can't remember where we were going, which location, but I remember you and Bryony were just going to go into Morrison. Sorry. We parked in the car park, and I just like sat in the driver's seat, like zoning out, and like the world was just like.
I don't even remember that.
And I was just like, "Oh my God, I can't do it! I can't do it!"
I do remember the time when it was just us three in the car, and it must have been quite late on. I think because Ollie was you were getting the crew, the cast from the station. I think Mason, you stayed at home.
I went
that
with the
one.
train crew,
because you started the edit. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I can't remember. I remember one day at Harlexton at least, and maybe a day at the Brent Theatre.
I remember we were driving.
I was just starting the edit.
We were driving down, and we put the radio on. I think it was one of the rare times when Bryony sat in the back because I think she just wanted to lie down. But I sat in the front with Ed, and it was like Radio 2 or whatever, and True by Spandau Ballet came on, and for some reason we put it on full, and me and Ed were just going, so true, funny how it feels.
That was the same day I'm talking about. Yeah, because I put it on. I was like, guys, let's just turn up the volume. Like we need.
We were just blasting new romantic stuff and just losing our minds.
So good.
But it was great. I look back on it very fondly, as I do with most of these experiences.
Me
too. I've filmed stuff through that film. Like we all met Pauline and Nick from Nicole Lovin, Paula Lovin from Crow's Eye Film, who make some wonderful historic videos, which we also worked on together. We worked on William's story. We'll get to that in a bit. And like when we've been filming with them, like in outside Gatwick and stuff, where it's like you're knackered, but you're like, Christ, I enjoy this. It's one of those times where you're there and you go, I feel like I was put on Earth to do this. Like, I actually understand, you know. It's like when I'm fixing. There's times when, and I hope Ollie can remember and vouch for me on this, but there was a time when the Zoom was broken when we were at Mason's house. And I sat and basically disassembled the Zoom, put it back together again, and got it working. And I was just sat there, and I was like, when I'm solving problems in my current job, which is teaching, I tend to stress out and I'll solve the problem, but by the end of the day, I'm knackered. But when there's a problem with audio, I suddenly become a bit like Holmes and Watson, where I'm like, you know, the game is afoot. I've got to figure out what the problem was, you know. And that music, that from Sherlock starts playing. And I think that's the difference in the stress, isn't it? Not always, because there's some killer stress involved with filmmaking.
Yeah.
Ollie's just munching on something.
Yeah, I think he's
He's
zoned
having a
out.
brownie.
He's
having
not
a
here, is
brownie.
It's a brownie. Yeah, it's a brownie.
I thought you
it's
were
a
having
brownie.
brownie.
Yeah.
A
It's
brownie.
his mum's brownie.
What's
Yeah.
that? Brownie. Yeah.
Hey,
brownie
man.
with Sudafed in it.
How you doing, Ollie?
I'm good.
I'm
yeah.
great, man.
Yeah.
Spaced
Yeah.
out.
It gonna be cool. Are we looking forward to Christmas, chaps?
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be all right.
Should be alright. Yeah.
I don't
Sure.
care particularly this year. I think I'm going to care on Christmas Day because I'm having dinner with my grandparents. But I think I'm either aging out or at the moment I'm just sort of too busy with other things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not to take the mood down. I'm wearing a Sonic thing though. Look at that. Look at me.
We've all got Christmas jumpers on.
We have.
I
Yeah.
mean,
have.
if you're listening
Mine-
as a podcast and we
No,
never
I
make
look,
a video,
there's a lot of Christmas I do. Like,
imagine.
Yeah. I had a proper magical moment the other day. Like, I was in Covent Garden.
Magical
We're
moment.
talking about our jumpers, Ollie.
You know what? Don't stop him. Let him just carry on.
What's the
Oh, no, it's just like-
context? You had a magical moment.
I had a magical moment. So, like, I was in Covent Garden with my friend, and it was just like I had a Bailey's hot chocolate, and then there was this guy with a guitar, singing all these songs that are just like everybody knows, like sort of Wonderwall, that sort of.
I am an antichrist. Was it that one?
Yeah, no. And then there was this moment where he was just singing the Friends theme song, and
Sandstorm
it was just
by
like
Darude.
he was singing the
Yeah.
Friends
Who-
theme song. Everybody was
who
singing along
sings-
to it.
Who sings the Friends theme song, Ollie?
Is it Who's Seen the Blowfish?
No, it's the Rembrandts. But carry on.
I would know that. Sorry.
I don't even like Friends, and I know that. What's that about? I've thrown it back to him, and he's got his mouth full.
And then there's all
Ollie, you
this.
sound like you're...
I haven't been listening, if I'm all
And then there was all this like, and then there was all this fake snow coming down, and it's like, oh, this is all lovely, this is all magical and stuff like that. Oh, this is what Christmas is all about. And then 2 days later, I got COVID.
Fa la la la
There it is,
la la
folks.
la
La
la.
la la la.
Oh,
I was like,
Plot twist. Didn't see
plot
that
twist!
coming.
Plot twist in the pandemic. Good lord! All right, Ollie. Riddle, tell me this: what is your favourite Christmas song?
oh god. Winter Wonderland.
Winter Wonderland, the Bing Crosby one.
Yeah,
There you
or
go.
whichever version of it. Yeah, it's just a nice song. I can sing it
okay.
word for word.
I
Yeah,
don't like Winter Wonderland.
yeah.
I think it's
In the
rubbish, that
meadow we
one.
can build a song.
It's a bit lazy for me. Bit lazy.
Okay, what's your
Oh,
favorite?
God.
It's a bit
A
lazy.
bit on the
for me.
lazy side.
If you want to go popular
Yeah.
music, what else is there? There's
The best one is obviously David Bowie and Bing Crosby singing "The Little Drummer Boy" because that's just there to weird you out. Pa-da-pa-pum-pum.
No, it's clearly Coldplay's Christmas Lights.
Oh, God.
No, not having it.
Yeah, Coldplay's Christmas Lights. Yeah, well, okay, we'll take that. Mason, have you got a favourite Christmas song? I'm interested. I'm genuinely interested. Not the fake interest that I usually show.
I always like The Darkness.
Oh, that's a great one. To be fair.
That's a
Oh,
good one. No, it's a good one. Yeah.
Oh,
Don't let the bells end.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't.
That's a tune.
I'd say Elton John's "Step Into Christmas."
That's a
always
cracker as well.
That's actually. It's always upbeat and like it's not too Christmassy.
Yeah.
No,
Driving
it's-
Home for Christmas, that's always a good one. That's another fun one. Yeah.
What's that one?
Can't think
Driving
what
Home
else.
for Christmas?
Oh, Driving Home for Christmas by Chris Rea.
Yeah.
Chris Rea, who I can't think of without thinking of Bob Mortimer and the egg.
Yeah, same.
I've run a bath for you, Bob. I've put an egg in there for you.
I put an egg in there.
I've put an egg in the bath for you, Bob.
That's the second time you mentioned an egg today.
It's eggy. It's an eggy
Egg.
Christmas.
Sorry, when
Egg
Ollie was
Buxton.
talking... Egg Buxton. When Ollie was talking earlier about his magical moment in Covent Garden, all I could hear was this like Californian like woman like So when I went to London, and that's
it's so perfect.
It was so good.
Oh my god!
That is-
Are you
that
talking
is
like my
Ollie.
Callie from the Valley? Like,
Oh,
Ollie is a long lost valley girl. There is no getting away from it.
oh my god! So I was having my mocha latte, and
It was
the
raining in
Christmas lights-
Anaheim.
The Christmas lights were amazing.
And they were roommates.
they were so good.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
Yeah.
They were roommates.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell.
Oh, I'm enjoying the chaos that this episode already is.
It's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
I didn't even write down what the name was you said
Better.
earlier, but I'll come back to it.
Oh, you'll find it. You'll find it.
I'll
There
find
might be
it. I
another
always
one.
do. There'll be another
There
one
might be another
eventually.
one coming.
Ed,
Yeah.
favourite Christmas
Yeah.
song, go.
I don't know if I have a favourite, but I have a few.
few
I
as
still love Gabrielle Aplin's cover of Power of Love that she did
for the
Donna's
advert. Was it an advert?
Oh,
yeah.
Is it a John
and
Lewis one?
John Lewis. It was the Snowman. Yeah, and I like the Spaceman. Is it called the Spaceman?
Oh, Chris
Yeah.
De Burgh's one, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Spaceman.
Is that the one that goes
Yeah.
I like it because it's weird. I don't like it as a song, but I do think it comes up on Christmas songs. You're like, this is a weird one, and I appreciate weird.
But then I also I don't mind. I'm not mad at Mariah when she comes on. I'm like, turn it up full.
I'm not mad at her because she wrote that. I was, from what I know, she wrote it in about 5 minutes as a sort of throwaway thing, and it makes her more money than anything else she's ever written. And I appreciate that kind of thing. I know. I'm sure I was showing an interview where she was like, "Yeah, we wrote it in like 5 minutes, and now I'm a millionaire because of it."
Yeah.
I mean,
Can we all agree that
sell
the
out,
worst
why
Christmas
not?
song is Band Aid?
It is now. You know what? I love the tune
Thank
of it,
God
but
it's them.
instead of you,
Yeah.
every single line of it, you're like, "This is not good."
No.
I used to think the worst one was the Paul
Band Aid is
McCartney
not.
one, but I've come around to it a little bit.
Oh no!
Simply
I
Happy
I
the
like
other
that
day,
one.
and
Okay.
I wanted to
Oh
scratch
no!
my eyes out.
It's Keith
Dum,
Richards.
dum,
Was
dum.
it Keith Richards? No,
Cliff
what's it called?
Richards. Cliff Richards. Keith Richards
Keith Richards. That's someone else.
from the Rolling
Cliff Richards.
Stones.
Who's like, yeah, Cliff Richards was like Christmas time.
Christmas time.
Yeah, that one.
It's all
That
right.
that can jump in a bin.
My favourite thing about the McCartney one is someone said that it sounds like witches who are about to summon something, and then the police have knocked down the door. So it goes, the time is right, the moon is
Oh,
clear,
so-
it only
I
comes,
like
the
that.
time is... And then the police kick the door down, they go, we're simply having a wonderful Christmas. It's
Actually,
like, nothing bad's going on here.
The two that I overplayed too much are Slade
Yeah.
and Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day and Merry Christmas
Wizard,
Everyone. It's
Yeah.
just, I can't do it anymore. I'm like, turn down the volume.
My favourite for personal reasons is the 2,000 Miles by the Pretenders, but that's because I'm a massive Pretenders fan as well. And I get it's probably the weakest song, but it's sort of Christmas time, you know.
This is-
You know, it's nice.
I've got such a nerdy reference, but I don't care because there's the right podcast for it. But you know,
It definitely is.
Like,
There is a Lego
Merry
rocket behind me.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
I have a Lego
Edward.
Aston Martin and a dinosaur on my desk.
You know when you hear "So here it is," I always remember
From the
Catherine
mechanics
Zeta-Jones
bit
Donna.
in the... Oh, no, okay, yeah.
Donna Noble. She's like, where it goes, "Here it is," and it just cuts off. It's like, you had the reception without me. Every time, straight in my head, and I'm like, "Yep."
See, I was thinking the bit where in the Christmas Invasion where the TARDIS turns up and Mickey, who we now can't really talk about, but Mickey is in the mechanics room and he's like, turn it off, and you can hear the TARDIS. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
I'm a little bit
yeah.
older, only slightly though.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, can't think about him anymore.
I love that.
For
Nope.
reasons.
Or the other one,
Oh god, oh no.
JB.
Oh. Anyway,
I feel like we're getting there. But yeah,
we're
anyway.
getting there.
Should
I'm
we
just
at
thinking-
least we could jump into it?
We've done 40 minutes and it's not stopped yet.
Oh.
It said that you've upgraded.
Yeah, I don't know, but-
the,
Oh, did it?
Unlimited
Yeah.
minutes.
Oh, Merry Christmas, everybody! Right,
Merry Christmas.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
Merry Christmas.
Oliver, I need you to say television for me.
Okay.
In
Do you want me to say in a
Christmassy
Christmas
way.
way? Okay.
Do it in a Christmas way.
Cali Girl.
All right. I want.
Do it in a Cali Girl way.
Do it in a Cali
Oh, in a
Girl
Cali
way.
Girl. Okay. Put some jingle jangle music behind it. Okay.
I will do. Yeah.
Oh my god, guys! Have you seen what's on television lately? It's amazing, or not so amazing. We're about to find out. It's TV. I love TV.
I'd like to apologise to our listeners in California. I don't know if we've ever had any in California. We've got loads in Virginia for some reason.
We
Loads
definitely
in
won't.
Michigan.
We definitely won't now.
No, we've got a bunch in British Columbia.
Yeah.
Have you had any like New York now on TV?
I don't think anybody's
Oh,
listened to us in New
yeah, I don't
York.
think
You know.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We get a map, Ed, on the Podbean thing, and it shows you where the listeners are from. And it is very interesting because a lot of the time, like BC, I used to live in. I know a lot of people there, so it's sort of believable. And for some reason, they think my voice makes me intellectual, so I can understand why they listen to you. I love you. Please don't stop listening. Thank you.
Oh God.
The vast majority are in the UK, and then there was, for some reason, we had a huge holdout in Michigan. And then they stopped, but then there's the same amount of people in Virginia, and I'm convinced it's one family that have moved to Virginia. But you're all, everybody's welcome here. Everybody's welcome here. Anyway, sweet baby Jesus, whose birthday we are celebrating. Doctor Who Flux, somebody, for the love of God.
Oh.
I want to just say, I'm going to start with
say.
positives. I'm going to start with positives. I really enjoyed one episode of it. It was a really good episode.
Same.
A lot of the cast were really good in it.
All right, was it a really good episode, or was it just good for that standard of
I think it. Okay, I think it was a decent episode by itself.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the
It's
one
like-
episode that had a co-writer. So
Yeah, I know. I noticed that as well. But I'm not one that's. I don't think the entire. I'm not one who thinks the entire Chibnall era has been bad, because actually I thought Series 2 for the most part was great. I thought quite a lot of Series 1 was serviceable. Series 1, what am I talking about? The first series was Jodie Whittaker, the second series was Jodie Whittaker, the third series. I'm kind of sick of the way that they're overcompensating now and saying, oh, we need to throw everything in, because we didn't have anything come back in the... Was it Series 10 or 11 that was Jodie's? Series 11.
Series 11 and nothing callback.
Yeah, it was nothing in it, which a lot of people didn't like, but there was a lot of good in it. There was a couple of trash in it, but there was a lot of good in it. Series 2, there was a lot of good in, and then for some reason this series they were like, fuck it, let's put everything in it and have no resolution at all, which is ironic.
Yeah,
considering resolution
half the
as well.
episode count.
It was
and
ironic
just,
as well because
like,
they had 6 episodes to build it up, and the resolution was just sort of like.
I don't. Nothing happened. It just stopped.
Yeah.
It just went. All right, that's it. Bye.
I can't figure out if it's a good idea, but compress into those 6 episodes so it is a mess, or it was the idea just a mess.
There was just
with.
so much going on.
If they had more episodes, could
Yeah.
it have been really good if they had like an actual proper series order of the 10 or so episodes.
It's not. They're not great
know.
at the overarching plot aspect of it at the moment. They're very good at individual episodes in the other series, I like the 2-parter, the Spyfall, whatever it was called, which was a bit of a mess. It was a bit chaotic, but obviously I really enjoyed the Ada Lovelace aspect because I'm a child. But I should clarify if people don't realise I'm from where she's buried. I know she's one of my heroes. But that was a good 2-parter anyway. It had a good overarching plot, and then there was a few good episodes of that series, like the Tesla one, nothing to do with anything, load of fun. Which I think is why the Angels one was sort of self-contained, wasn't it? Like it didn't really have
Pretty
much
much,
of the other.
Had a good
nonsense happening.
cliffhanger, and then that immediately got like reversed in the next one. So that was a bit
my favourite episode probably of Jodie there was probably the Mary Shelley one, the sort of one where.
Yes, I did enjoy that one. That was weird.
The Lone Cyberman. Yeah, I just like that one a lot because of its themes, and I like it when Doctor Who goes more into the scary aspect of it itself a little bit.
Yeah, when it becomes a horror, which is again what the Angel episode sort of wasn't it? It was a horror.
Yeah, exactly. It was the closest,
was it the same writer as that?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Well, I think you said that.
Yeah, it was.
You said that before.
It was the same episode as the Mary Shelley episode. Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, it was. And then just.
So I'm happy to have you on, Ed, because I know that you're a Doctor Who nerd, much like us.
Well, I have a confession to make.
Oh, you wrote it. You wrote the Angels episodes.
No, I wish. No, I stopped watching this show.
Oh wow!
Ooh.
I stopped watching during the second Jodie series 12.
Okay.
Basically. So I did Spyfall Part 1, Spyfall Part 2, and then I was like, I can't get into this anymore.
Really?
Yeah, for me, like, it's not Jodie. I would just like to defend Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah.
It's not her, and it's not her acting. It's the material and the writing.
Yeah,
It just
definitely.
bothers me so much because I'm like, oh, it really just like,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Because the thing is, when Stephen Moffat was leaving and they were like, Chris Chibnall's taking over, I was like, okay. I watched a bit of Broadchurch. Like, it seemed like it was really good. I could try and get into this. I did all of Series 11 plus that special, start of Series 12, and then I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. It's not working anymore. I don't really feel like I'm enjoying it as much. But I've kept tabs, so I know about the Timeless Child. I know about everything that's happened.
I'm glad you do, Ed, because I haven't got a fucking clue.
Part of me's like, I should give it a go, but then I'm like, I might just wait till Russell comes back.
Yeah,
it sounds really bad. I might watch her last episode because I know it's gonna be like a action-packed.
I think it's also partially to do with the companions just haven't been as compelling as well.
Oh yeah,
well, they haven't been given room to though. In my opinion, I think
they haven't been given the material. No, but Ryan was the most bland companion by a country.
They just
mile.
left him, and when he became interesting, they sort of would like the bit in the Rosa Parks one, where he's on his own and he's operating by himself and he sort of gets a bit of confidence in himself, and then they just drop that never comes back, and I was like, well, hang on, he was almost a character for a minute there. You know.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry for Yaz. I'm like, who are you? Like,
she's got more to do now because she's Steve's companion. But then
I think
John
Bradley
Bishop in, who got way too confident way too quickly and just sort of like felt a bit.
I think Bradley Walsh got away with it because he played Bradley Walsh, and everybody in Britain knows who Bradley Walsh is. So it's sort of and that's not a diss. That it works because he just turned up as like, I'm going to play myself. You know.
Yeah.
And actually, it worked because you were like, right, we don't need to establish. We established about his wife and everything, which was really well done. In the first one about how he's a cancer survivor, and then from that point on he was sort of like the moral heart of a lot of the episodes.
Yeah, and then they never bring up the cancer again.
Well, no, it doesn't have it, though, to be fair.
I thought at the start of Spyfall they mentioned...
It does.
Yeah,
you are correct.
Like a checkup or something.
And then, but then there's something where he's being tortured. Is he being tortured in one of them? I'm trying to remember when, and they sort of go, "Oh, you got survivor's guilt or something," and then they talk about. I'm sure I might be making that up. I'm sure something like that happened in
I don't know. I can't remember.
In some way, like the last series in Flux does remind me of like, Rise of Skywalker. Just the way it's like, and then this happens, and then that happens. And
I think Mia and Mason both said exactly
Going
that.
All at the wall to see what sticks, and it's just
it's like then they go here, then this happens, then the explosion, then we win in the end. It's kind of like that. So it just drives me mad that, and I think I don't know if it's like Chris, because I heard rumors that they were going to do 10 episodes for this series that's just finished, and then obviously they were like, oh shit, COVID, we'll have to chop it down to 6.
Yeah.
So when they were like, it's going to be one standalone story, I was like, yes, let's go. Finally, this is going to be good. And then it just seemed like they just crammed it with everything. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I would be getting rid of that character and getting rid of that. And that's not important to get rid of that.
Yeah.
But also, like,
I didn't need John Bishop. Like,
I didn't. I thought it was all right in this series. I didn't think he was.
Honestly, he's my least favorite companion. I hate him. I think he's a shit character. He's crap. I genuinely could not stand Dan.
You just don't like Scousers, do you? You soft southern.
No, I'm fine with Scousers. I just thought Dan was the worst character Doctor Who has ever written. Like,
Sorry. Are we ignoring the Absorber lot for what?
Oh, evil Dan.
Evil Dan, the memes for
Plasterer,
Evil Dan.
Plasterer.
He can apparently do no wrong, and he has like nothing. Yeah. There's no, at the moment, there's just no fault to him.
He has no character
to
him.
You just can't relate to him.
Have you guys...
I fucking hate him. That's what Ollie said.
I like museum.
I hate him.
I
hate him. I hate him.
I hate him. I do.
I hate him. I do.
I like John. I find John Bishop fine as a comedian, but like, it's just I just like fucking hell.
Oh,
like, grow
dear.
character, like, and it's just like you just didn't need him. You didn't need him, and then you like have him come in and join the TARDIS. Like he's not, and then he's like suddenly being in board with us for a whole 10 years and stuff like that. Because Doctor Who did one of those stupid time jump things where they've skipped another generation. Like,
Yeah, it's horrible when they do that in media, isn't it, Ollie? It's horrible when they split off and do weird shit like that and jump forward just because they can't do the story because they want to jump forward.
5 years.
It's horrible when they do shit like that, isn't it, Ollie? And have too many people in a film so you lose track of what's going on. It's horrible, isn't it? Sorry, anyway.
Have you guys seen Doctor Who poop on YouTube?
Yes.
Have you seen
Ryan
Sinclair?
Is that
he did Evil Dan, didn't he? Yeah. I've not seen the Ryan Sinclair one, though.
Where it's like, Ryan Sinclair, don't you dare. It's a whole song. And Graham's like, you're doing it, mate. You're doing it, mate. It's so good.
Did he do... Is it that YouTube channel that did the Ninth Doctor win the Squid Game, which is honestly one of my favourite videos anybody's ever made?
No.
he goes anti-plastic and throws it at the wall.
Yeah.
Just this once, everybody lives.
Yeah. I will say, if you guys ever get the chance to do the Doctor Who experience in London, live
in London,
thing,
is it in London?
The no,
yeah,
it's like
it's
like a secret cinema type thing, but it's not like cinema. It's like it's a show. So you walk around and like everyone has a completely different experience anytime because it's a completely different story sort of thing. But basically, yeah, you're interacting with the world of Doctor Who. Like the world's had this time fracture thing. Like it's all split into different sort of sections.
Oh, great!
And stuff like that.
Is this the thing that you volunteered in a bit for, Ollie? Like instead of
yes,
some kids,
I was
like you were like,
courting
I want to.
I've got to take my Christmas jumper off. I'm actually going to die. I'm just going to go off screen for a second.
I've just got this image of me like doing this live Doctor Who thing, running, and then just going on my face, and be like, ah!
I'm back, baby.
There's a bit involving
With
weeping
Mount
angels, which forces you to run, which is kind of
Oh god.
Run.
yeah.
Do 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 do. So I'm just doing Rose.
Oh, that's another thing I've been really missing is Murray Gold. Because, like,
you know, I love from series 11 and 12 the sort of really ethereal synth stuff. This series didn't have any of that shit. I thought this series was just a mess of music. Like, I think he's great. I can't remember his name, but he's quite good. But I do miss Murray. I was watching Heaven Sent and the soundtrack in that. I was like, Jesus Christ, Murray Gold was really good.
Yeah, but like, I was thinking like, oh, it's Doctor Who just going down, and then I watched a couple of older episodes. And I was just like, oh, fuck no, this is great. I was just like, oh.
I did think that. I was like, am I aging out? I was like, am I finally aging out of Doctor Who?
Yeah, I was like, and then I said,
I was
like, oh no, this is fantastic. This is great. This is the best television show ever.
A couple of episodes ago, and Mason brought this back up when he got the job again. But I went on a bit of a rant a few series ago, going, look, Davis was good. But he wasn't perfect. There was a lot of shit in his time as well, is what I said. I was like, I go on quite a long rant on this, and then Mason said it to me again when he got the job, and I was like, listen, I'm happy he's got the job again. But I will find it hilarious if it's shit under Davis again. I will go, you know.
Because we said, what if this is like JJ coming back to
exactly.
Star Wars?
It's like JJ. Oh, except I think Russell's, to be fair to Russell, he brought it back and made it his own thing, whereas JJ just sort of did Star Wars again, didn't he?
Yeah, here's the thing. There was a completely different writer on Rise of Skywalker as well. He brought back Chris Terrio, who is, let's put it this way, he's not the best screenwriter, is he?
Was it Lawrence Kasdan on the first one?
Yeah, Lawrence Kasdan wrote Force Awakens and the Solo, and then Ryan wrote Last Jedi, and then Chris Terrio. Yeah, Chris Terrio wrote episode.
At least they tried. The one thing you can say about The Last Jedi is at least they tried to do something different. God forbid.
I am one of the unabashed, I adore Last Jedi people.
Yeah. After 7 or 8 viewings, let's just put that out there. It did take you quite a few viewings to come around.
No, I was on board for on the first. Yeah.
But I don't agree though that it's. I think me and Mason are both of the same mind about this. If it had another year and a half, 2 years in in the oven, it would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
You watch it and you go, this is a mess. There's no getting around the fact this is a mess. It's trying, but it's a car crash.
Yeah.
We cannot get onto The Last Jedi because there's enough white guys moaning about Last Jedi on the internet. Mind you, like there isn't about Doctor Who.
Hard right turn. What have we got? What's the
Well, I was on a date and The Last Jedi came up and...
Whoa, okay, whoa, left turn, back we come. Carry on.
Oh no, it was just like our Star Wars opinions came up in conversation, and like we had a couple of disagreements on Star Wars opinions, but I just sort of smiled and nodded and like, yeah, cool, I'll bring this up.
What were the opinions you disagreed on?
When's the
Last
second
Jedi
date?
and things like that. Yeah,
The second date. When's the second
Could you
episode?
imagine if you got dumped over The Last Jedi? Yeah, I hate it.
I was present for someone being dumped over Blade Runner 2049.
Whoa.
I've told you that. I've definitely told you this story before. I don't know if he was dumped, to be fair, but I was watching Blade Runner 2049 for the first time, which I adored. It was long as fuck, but I adored it.
That's a pretty.
And the guy behind me kept saying, "How long is this movie going to be?" to his girlfriend, going, "How long is it? We've been here for ages." And then kept falling asleep, and she kept waking him up. I could hear it. It was like they're directly behind me.
Yeah.
And he was like loudly snoring, and I was like getting annoyed, but then she turned around and elbowed him, and I went to my mate Bryn next to me. I went, "This is almost more entertaining than the film." And then I can't remember what else happened during the show, but they got up at the end, and he went, "Thank these Canadians as well." He went, "Thank fuck for that," and she went, "We need to talk about our relationship." And at that point, I literally dipped out, and I went, "I think I've just heard a relationship collapse over Blade Runner." I remember exactly which seat I was in. I was in the Landmark Cinema in Victoria, British Columbia, and we went outside and watched them walk out, and they didn't look happy. And then I had to go and watch it again because I've missed a big chunk of it because someone was snoring behind me. But you know, I went to see it in the IMAX after that, and it was a different experience. But that's my Blade Runner 2049 story.
Oh God! Do you know I watched the most recent Wonder Woman film? I think it was the start of this year, and
84.
My entire family went, "Shit!" But we just watched. I couldn't believe how bad it was. And there was I can't remember whose video on YouTube I was watching, but there's a scene where she's got the girl at the start in that shopping mall, and she swings down.
I bet Ollie loved that.
It's just a picture of her. They've just moved her arm back and forth.
Oh,
it's like
what?
It's
a still image that they've made.
It's been like roto-cropped, and she's just doing this. That's all she's doing.
That's fantastic.
It's not real. And the girl is also like superimposed. She's just like this.
That's
and
amazing.
like they're not moving. It's actually I couldn't believe it when he slowed it down. And I was like, oh my God, this is so bad.
The only film experience I've had similar to not quite on that level, but I came out of, and I'm waiting for the laugh now, but I came out of the Camden Odeon having watched Ad Astra.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh no.
And it was me, and there was a bunch of people, and there was an old couple who'd been sat near me. And the old woman turned to her husband and went, "That was shit," quite loudly in the lobby, and I just lost it. And it's amazing, cut through the London sort of "don't talk to strangers" thing, because everybody was like, "Yeah, it was fucking awful, wasn't it?" And I turned around, well, I can't believe we've all just sat and watched that. And then Ollie was like, "Oh, but it's so original. It's so
dense.
Such an original, clear picture of the future."
It's fresh.
It's fresh, and then I won't go into it because we have this argument a lot about how absolute garbage Ad Astra is. John likes it as well, though, but you know.
I've got a story. I dated someone a while ago, and one of his friends went to go and watch the second 50 Shades of Grey film.
Oh,
I remember him telling me this
good.
on one of our dates. It was good. I remember him telling me on one of his dates that his friends were sat behind this like drunk other gaggle of friends that were watching it. And there's this, I don't know what the scene was, but it was obviously the scene where Christian Grey is like taking out things he liked to use, to put it very lightly. And these girls were like, or women, were like commentating what he was pulling out and using. And one of them just went, "Beads! He's got beads!"
No.
I mean, that's the second title you were talking about, Mason. Beads, he's got beads.
Oh, he's got a whip!
That's amazing.
It's so good. That's all I can think of now when someone says bees. It's bees!
They just said this aloud in a cinema. Oh.
Fucking hell.
That's not like, I love it when people clearly aren't paying attention in films.
Pointing out the obvious.
Well, yeah, or in like theatre, for example, when me and Ollie left Hamilton, and the guy said to his daughter, "So who's Aaron Burr?" It's like, what the main character of the whole fucking show? Well, it wasn't that.
Say,
go on.
Sorry, you go on, Alex. What are you going to say?
I was just going to say, he said to his daughter, he said, "Who was that guy at the end who shot Hamilton?" And she went, "Aaron Burr." He went, "Who was he then?" Which, if anybody's seen Hamilton, you know who Aaron Burr is.
Yeah.
Well, I saw Hamilton literally 2, nearly 3 weeks ago now. No clue what I saw. Like, second half, I was like, they're doing a rap battle? Like, what?
Oh, it was so good, though.
No,
even I liked it, Ed.
Yeah, he liked
I don't like music. I loved it.
It's my favourite musical. Yeah, I love it.
No, see, I couldn't get on board. I was like, I don't get what's going on.
A few people can't. Though,
I was lost. I was like, I don't get what's going on. And then the fact is, like, I'm Alexander Hamilton. I'm like, okay, that's great. And it's like, I've got one shot. I'm like, okay, I get that. I'm following. My favourite bit is still when Catherine Ryan, the comedian, has already done this.
Oh yeah, I've seen that with "Say No to This," which is the worst. Is the worst part of the show, I have to say.
And honestly, when he started singing that, that's all I could think of, and I was like having to cover my mouth to not laugh.
I watched
quite
it
close to the front
a couple of weeks ago with Becca, a mutual friend of all of ours, and she was just like the bit where he's singing "Say No to This," which is about how a woman offered to have sex with him and he just couldn't say no. And it's just like, she's like, is he taking the piss? Are we supposed to feel sorry for this guy who's cheating on his wife, like for no reason at all? And how horny it gets as a show. Like, it becomes so horny as a show for like 5 minutes, and then never like it's like fairy tale, very very horny. Fairy tale.
That's what I thought. I was like, this has gotten very sexual.
It goes. I think it just goes overboard from it. You're like, and then it's like, she spread her legs. I'm like, excuse me, this was educational a moment ago.
My parents didn't like Hamilton either. To be fair, like,
I do love Hamilton, but I'm able to recognise the flaws because it isn't a flawless masterpiece.
No, and then the other thing I said, because I went with my friend Debbie from work, and I was like, so there were 3 sisters, but now there's only 2.
And then Peggy gets forgotten quite quick, doesn't she?
She's dead. So he was like, oh, she's dead. I was like, when did that happen?
I don't even know if she is dead. Does she even die?
She died.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I thought it just went, right, Peggy can go now.
Nah, Peggy,
she becomes...
Peggy.
Yeah.
She becomes the woman that the actress then goes on to... Yeah, she becomes that, which is confusing. And the fact that I said to Becca, it only just occurred to me on the last viewing, but the fact that Hamilton's son looks suspiciously like John Lawrence and nobody's asking questions. Like, nobody's going, Eliza, did you ever spend time with John? Like, nobody's going, hang on a minute. It's like Back to the Future. At no point does George McFly go, he looks a lot like that guy.
Yeah.
He looks a lot like the guy who played the guitar that time.
Jeez.
Lorraine. Have you met up with him again, Lorraine? You even called him Marty Lorraine. Anyway, that's some Back to the Future discourse.
Any other television?
Yes. I'll be very quick though, because I don't really want to talk about it. Well, I don't want to talk about it, but I've watched all of The Witcher series 2.
Oh
wow!
Yeah, it came out like a day ago, didn't it?
It's only like 5 or 6 episodes though. It's not long. Okay. It might be more than that, but I watched it all of yesterday basically. I enjoy it. It's good. The actors are good in it. Henry Cavill's clearly having fun. There was an incredibly emotional moment in it that I didn't recognise coming, and I don't want to liken it to anything because it will ruin what it was about. But it says the blurb says he loses an old friend, and then you don't realise what they're referring to, and it's just a very very sweet moment of Henry Cavill with someone. I'm not going to say who, but it's very similar to one that I've mentioned from a video game before. But I'm not going any further with that because it will ruin exactly who it is that dies. But yeah, The Witcher, good. I enjoyed it.
Do we want to mention Arcane briefly, or like?
Oh shit! Yeah, let's talk about Arcane.
Let's talk about Arcane. because
that's a video game adaptation. Holy shit!
Yeah,
you go, Ollie. You talk about it for a bit.
Arcane is a show based on the world of the massive open world RPG called League of Legends. I think if that the right massive
League of Legends, yes.
Yeah.
A MOBA.
And it's sort of set in the world of Piltover and sort of like a city that's divided by a class system, and like there's sort of a war faction going on, and it's sort of about two sisters who grow up in this environment and become separated through certain events. And it's this beautiful animation. It's done by this company called I can't remember. It's a French studio.
While you figure that out, I'll do a story thing for you.
Yeah, you do.
So as Ollie sort of tried to say there's a city called Piltover, which is this utopian vision of a sort of, I won't say steampunk, 'cause it's not quite, but sort of a steampunk future. Not future, but a steampunk sort of city that exists above a city referred to as the Undercity, which the people who live there call it Zorn, which is sort of this really highly densely populated sort of slave city almost. And it's sort of, a lot of it is about the oppressed sort of wanting to resist against the oppressors, and the people in it's such a great parallel for for privileged people meaning well but coming from privilege and not really realizing how privileged they are, even if they're like it's like the sort of white working class sort of not really recognizing that even though there are black people that do better than you, you're still privileged because you have that position in society that's a bit higher. It's that sort of, it comments on that a lot, but it's such a, I will say Ollie recommended it to me based on the animation, and the animation is phenomenal. Yeah. But also I think it's by far the high bar for video game adaptations. I'm about to have a coughing fit, so I'm going to mute my microphone.
It's kind of got this complexity and story depth of the best seasons of Game of Thrones, I find. Like the political discourse and the world building, character sort of pacing that gives attention to each of these sort of different factions of characters, sort of splits off into these sort of storylines that all culminate together in the end. So I've not seen that sort of level of storytelling outside Game of Thrones for a while, basically. And it was just sort of, the animation obviously by the studio Fortiche is next level. It's kind of I say it's to television animation what Spider-Verse was to film animation, like in terms of, I think we've seen another bar reached in terms of what the quality we can see, and it's something I've wanted to see in adult animation for years.
Absolutely.
I would love to see adult animation taken seriously, because and a lot of people are like saying, oh, there's plenty of adult animation, like there's Family Guy and things, and I'm like, I'm not talking about that kind. I'm not talking about that kind of animation. I'm talking about proper in-depth high fantasy, like,
when you say adult animation, it's adult in a sense that it's aimed
the humour.
It's sort of like, I always think of Jerry Anderson, who made Thunderbirds, etc., where he always said he never made stuff for kids, he made stuff for adults that kids could watch.
Yeah,
that was his, which is why it sort of lives on the way it does in the minds of idiots like me. But I'd say that about Arcane as well.
Yeah, it's just it's really great storytelling. I loved it. It just sort of opened up this potential of like, oh my god, this could open up so many kinds of things I'd love to see adapted in this sort of way, like brought forward. Like you could do so many those comics that I think would fit the sort of way this kind of storytelling has been done, like, so well. Like the Saga series would be such a good animated series if you gave this amount of care and attention to this sort of, like, and as you said, it's the best video game adaptation I've ever seen in terms of, like, because like it's not necessarily like the game is like full of plot and stuff like that. It's not like you're adapting too much. You're sort of taking elements of a lore and then just sort of running with it, I suppose. And I think that's probably why it's as strong as it is, I say. But yeah, I was just fundamentally blown away by it, and it was just something I just caught on. I just watched the trailer because of the animation, and I just thought, okay, I'll give this a go, and then I just got utterly absorbed with the characters in the world.
Because neither of you had played the game.
No, never. I had no interest in League of Legends whatsoever beforehand. No interest in the characters, nothing.
And I think a lot, because I see a lot of people talk about this show, but I don't think any of them have played the game. So it's interesting.
It's made me interested in playing.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, it's made me interested in playing other aspects of it. So I know they're doing other games and stuff like that outside of the main player base of League of Legends. And
it's made me. I investigated League of Legends and realised that it's definitely not for me.
Yeah, it's not the kind of game I want to play. But like, I was like looking at the world and lore and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, there's so many different.
It's so good at adapting. Once you actually look into the lore, it's adapted so well from that you sort of go back and go, God, people must have been going insane when it's sort of reference bits. Like, if I may, like, not to diss you here, Ollie, but sort of like in earlier Marvel films where they reference other ones where people would have been going, ooh, like it's sort of like Vi, one of the main characters, her main weapons in the game are fists, and there's a few times where she's fighting with that, and I'm like, I see.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry, guys. I'm having a horrible coughing fit.
Yeah. But yeah, the voice acting's phenomenal as well. Haley Steinfeld stars and Ella Pennell plays Jinx. And I would highly recommend it. It's one of the best things I've seen this year on television, I would say, or film. Otherwise, I would say. But,
strong statement.
Yeah.
Strong
They did it in an interesting release pattern as well. They released it in three batches of 3 episodes. So they did like a batch of 3 episodes here, and then there's one sort of act. Then in Act 2 they did another 3 episodes, and Act 3 was the final 3 episodes. And yeah, we're tantalising. Season 2 has been confirmed already, thank God, because I need it. I hope it doesn't take as long. Apparently the first season took about 6 years to make. I'm hoping the second season doesn't take as long. So we'll see. But
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to ask you guys a question on the topic of TV.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys watch MODOK on Disney Plus?
I watched a few episodes of it. Yeah. And all of it.
No,
so good. That whole series. I don't think they're going to have a second season, but honestly, one of the best things I've seen for ages. I was like, this is so funny.
Yeah, I thought it was alright. I haven't got quite into it as much as you have, but I watched a couple of the episodes. I watched 3 episodes, I think. There was a couple of nice emotional beats to it that I thought were quite nice, and then
the first episode's not great, but once you kind of get past that, it gets going.
Yeah.
But there's a scene where it just reminded me of work where they're like trying to do like a business, like a call meeting, and they're like, I think there's a delay on the line. Are you there? And they're like, you shut up. Who told you to shut up? This is me. I'm coming from here. Oh, did you say shut up? It's kind of like that. I've done a bunch of explaining, but
is it stop motion?
Yeah, it's like stop motion with like a bit of CG. It's
CG
that kind
stuff.
of, but it's very cleverly done. I quite liked it, but maybe that's me.
Cool.
But I've done all the Marvel TV shows. Although I'm currently an episode behind on Hawkeye. So no one tell me what happened.
Okay, yeah. So you haven't watched the latest episode of Hawkeye? Yeah, cool.
I haven't watched the latest episode. No. But I saw Black Widow last week, and I loved that. Even though I know there's probably plot holes.
Yeah, I like Black Widow. It's not my favorite one, but glad you watched that before watching the latest Hawkeye, because obviously there's a big.
Well, no, she turned up. They were having the fight on the rooftop, which is like the last one I saw.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I know who she's supposed to be, but I'll have to go back and like watch the film. And do my research. But I really enjoy Black Widow. Like, I know there.
Oh no, I've left for 5 minutes and we've gone to Marvel.
Sorry. It's because Alex, I was talking about MODOK on Disney Plus because I really enjoyed that show, but it feels like no one else watched it.
Yeah.
Never even heard of it.
I've been very much enjoying Hawkeye so far. It might end up being my favourite of the Disney Plus series so far if they stick the landing. The character building they're doing.
We said this for every single one of the shows.
Well, I said it for Loki, but like they've been getting better as they go along. Frankly, it's great. Hawkeye
for me, I don't know.
I don't know. Hawkeye is based. I think they've adapted the comic run that they're sort of doing very well in terms of like, and I love the character dynamic between Kate and Clint. I think Haley Steinfeld obviously is one of the best actresses working today.
Who was in Arcane, weirdly.
Who is in Arcane, yeah.
But on paper, it really shouldn't have worked, because I've tried all of them. I don't think I've actually said to you, Ollie. I've tried to get into
certainly not
a few of these. For nearly every one, I've watched the first episode and I was like, nah, nope, can't do it. But Hawkeye, I have been watching every week, and it's pretty good. Hate to say it, but
I think you did tell me that actually.
I
do vaguely remember you saying I've been watching it, but I think I'm going to drop it like as you
I didn't really.
Thing.
Yeah, I didn't really want to drop it like that, but you know.
No, you don't know this, Ed, but every now and then Mason will watch an entire show and just not tell us, and then
until we record,
and then just tell us. Sometimes at the end of it, in fact, was it the last Christmas episode where you're like, oh, by the way, I've watched all of Battlestar Galactica, and I was like, whoa, hang on, and it was like end.
Yeah,
I've been rewatching Buffy. I'm literally on the last season now. I've gone through all 6 seasons. Season 6 was a bit like, what the hell am I watching? And then I'm like, because it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know if you guys watched Buffy when it was on at the time.
A long time ago. I didn't watch it religiously, but I watched it when it was on.
No,
on Sky One.
I was a bit too young, but I remember the end of the show. So I was like, well, I don't know the beginning. So I just went back and watched it. And I've really enjoyed it. It's definitely gotten better season by season. But then I'm like, I remember all the like Joss Whedon stuff that's happened recently, and I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, it's a minefield, isn't it?
There's nothing anymore that is not untouched by some controversy somewhere. You're like,
I think at this point you just have to like split art from artist, and it sort of becomes.
It's easy to say that, isn't it? It's not.
It is.
It's like the old Eric Clapton thing about the fact that I when I first found out what a horrible racist he is about 10 years ago, I couldn't listen to his music anymore, and he's only got worse since then, which is weird.
Yeah, I do find it more difficult with music, actually. Funny enough, like I will never listen to Lost Prophets again for various reasons, but I think it depends on the degree of the crime, I suppose. I mean, not to say that.
Fucking hell. Someone succeeded in making this darker than I ever thought I could.
Yeah.
I just said Joss Whedon and we went.
I think it's both. I think it's.
I've done a similar thing.
Both.
Yeah.
Sorry, you go.
I've done a similar thing with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Ed. I remember the tail end of that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
As in, like, the second actress who played Aunt Viv. And I was like, I don't really remember the beginning of it. So I've gone back and watched it all. I finished it the other day. And then watched the HBO Max reunion special. That's the one I play.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting. Made it. I'm glad I watched it all beginning to end and then watched that. Because there was a lot of... They really, went into loads of details behind the scenes of, the change of hands of the different actresses who came on board to play Aunt Viv, and other bits and pieces from James Avery, things that Will has learned, how important that show was, really, to sitcoms and black culture. It was an incredible show.
Especially weirdly, well, not weirdly, but to link to that is the fact that sort of one of the shows that people said that about before was the Cosby Show, and obviously that's that's very much on the dumpster fire.
Problematic.
I would say about the splitting art from artist thing, Ollie, is that I think it's up to the person.
It is up to the person,
but I think there is a certain sort of intellectual cowardice, not from what you say, but sort of people that are like, oh, you can completely split it off. And it's like, well, you can't, because art by its very nature has to reflect some aspect of the artist.
Yeah.
Which is why I think music is more obvious like that, because it's condensed into a few minutes. But it's like I was talking to someone about Harry Potter and about how I've actually just genuinely just excised it from my life. Like, it's just gone now. She has fundamentally ruined it for me.
Yeah.
Apart from laughing at how shit this new film's going to be, it's removed. But there's people that are like, because I always said, what the biggest fan of Potter that I've ever met is a Canadian trans man. It's got him. I know, and he often says, I just have to pretend it's not her. He says the way he said to me, I deal with it because he listens to the Stephen Fry audiobook. Says, I just pretend Stephen Fry wrote it. I was like,
I've heard that.
Fair enough. But it's that's why I've never, even when she first started, I was like, I mean, she's gotten worse since she started with it. But when she first started with the anti-trans stuff, I was like, I can't. there's people I
just the fact that
personally
she's
know.
doubled down on it, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like there's people I personally know who got through some of the worst parts of their life by using Harry Potter, and then the person who wrote it is just. There's going to be people that'll be upset that I'm saying that because there's a lot of people that support her. But you know, find another podcast. Go fuck yourself. All 5 of you.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I don't begrudge a person if they want to still consume the material, and I don't begrudge the person if they want to stop consuming the material.
Yeah, I think people who just pretend it's not happening, like the people who are really excited about this game coming out and saying, "Well, she's probably not going to get all the money." It's she's going to get a lot of money from it. Yeah, like, let's not pretend. If you know it.
I'm under no delusion. Like, I still consume. I'm looking forward to the reunion special and various things
not.
like.
Like only another reminder of my aging.
Yeah, well, they're not like including her name in any of the promotional material. And things like
but that's
that,
it, isn't it? The cowardice of it, which is like we're still going to give her money and use her property, but we're just going to write.
We're not going to mention her.
It's like Graham Linehan, who's like a complete piece of shit. Like he's written some of my favourite, including the TV adaptation of Count Arthur Strong. Weirdly, to circle back to that, but like Father Ted and Black Books, which are such a part of my personality from growing up. But like they've started doing things now. Like I think they're doing a stage show of Father Ted, and they've said to Graham Linehan, we can't include you because we will lose money if we include you because of how toxic you are, because he is very toxic. But it's sort of me saying, was like, yeah, but they're still going to pay him. Like, he's still being paid by this. Yeah. Like, it's sort of, I do understand, I don't, it was my friend Catherine was sort of talking and saying it's such a big part of her life that she can't remove it, but she is, the way that she compensates it is being very pro trans rights, non-binary visibility, all that sort of actually sort of
donate
karmic sort of retribution of it. And then the other thing she says, oh, and also I buy all my Harry Potter stuff off Etsy, so that she don't get any of the money anyway. Yeah, it's like, I like that. That is good. That's a good hustle.
I mean, there's certain ways you can support the brand. Like, you could buy Harry Potter game from CEX when it comes out or something like that. So it's like
that's true. That's true. I mean, I don't know if it'll work that way for that kind of game, but I know what you mean.
I don't know, but
this is the thing. Like, going to the tours, the Universal World in Orlando, all that stuff, you're putting money in her back pocket.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I've had to do the same. I've had to I love that franchise, and like a lot of other people.
Well, it's iconic for us growing up. It was our Star Wars. It was the Star Wars of our generation, really.
Yeah, like I've still got the books, I've still got the films, and I'm not gonna get rid of them, but at the same time, I'm also not like, let's put Harry Potter on, because I'm just so enraged. So it's
I used to listen to the audiobooks as a sort of like they're always on my phone. So it was like, if I've got nothing else, if I've not got a signal, or B, whatever, I'll just put on like Order of the Phoenix something, because Stephen Fry just say like and it's more Stephen Fry. I have to say, it's always more Stephen Fry. But just having someone just say familiar things to you is it's a safe space, ironically. And I get that, because that's what Catherine said to me. She says, the amount of stress that I've been able to put aside by having Harry Potter on in the background, and you don't have to actually properly listen to it, because it's just Stephen Fry saying a part of Goblet of Fire or whatever, and you can jet back in and go, oh, this is the bit where the second task is happening, or whatever, something like that. But I think there's no black and white to it, but at the same time, I have no respect for people who are just head in the sand about it. Like, it's just fine. But people who are like, I can separate it, but I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. You're like, well, it's better than nothing. Because there's other authors who are pieces of shit whose work I still read.
I wasn't really being a blanket statement of like.
No, I was saying you. I wasn't saying you at all. I'm saying there's a lot of people out there. I've been saying since before she went on a weird thing, and Mason will back me up on this. I've been saying we need to let this franchise die for a long time. I'm like, we need to get past this. We need to grow up as a generation, because it's done. It's been done to death.
I don't know. There's just
it's just sad.
Yeah, it's more.
It is sad. It's sad.
It's more the fact that she could have. She was like, there's a lot of good she did beforehand. Like, there was a lot of like, stories of like giving charities and things like that, and inspired a whole generation to read and all sorts of things. And she used to be an idol, but she's sort of become this sort of, she's doubled down on these views.
She'd become a caricature of her former self, which is interesting, because you sort of go, well, which one's real, which one's
it's just sort of like a lot of her generation unfortunately do share her sort of views. There's a lot of that sort of generation that just don't have that sort of ideal thought path in terms of like trans rights, etc.
There is, but she's actively against. But that's different.
Exactly, that's why I'm saying it's the fact that she could have apologized. She could learn. She could educate herself, and she can make she's a good writer. She could have written herself a great apology and learned from her lessons and stuff like that. But no, she's not. She's doubled down and gone extra and made herself worse. And it's just sort of like
part of her self-destruction is that she's highlighted that actually she's not that good at writing. You know, when you go back, because it's fine. Look, I'm not saying. I mean, Harry Potter sold more than like God. Like, I understand that you don't get successful. It's like it's a good story. It is a good story. But you know, when when I listened to them again at university, I was like, these aren't as perfect as I remember. They're fun. They're great. But there's a lot of it where you go, why has everything gone back to normal at the end? Why have they not changed anything? Why did he become a cop, even though the cops ended up being enforcing? Like, I mean, we can get onto that whole politics side of it, but they became an aura, even though the auras were hunting down and rounding up Muggleborns at one point. You go, well, hang on, it's like joining the SS after killing, like, you know what I mean? It's not quite, but it's just like, oh, everything's fine. You know, house elves are still enslaved. That's the thing. You go back and listen, you go, or read, and you go,
slavery.
It's played as a joke that Hermione is anti-slavery. Like, all the way through. At no point do they say she's right, even though she is right. She is right that slavery is bad. But it's just... And the problem with Jo is if she just let Jo, if J.K. Rowling, if she just let it go, then you go, oh, it's kid stuff. It's like Roald Dahl. You go, oh, he was off his rocker. But, you know, it's classic kid stuff. Whereas now she's just still tweeting. You're like, please stop. Please stop.
It's like what would happen if Walt Disney had Twitter. Like, you know... It's
just Walt Disney is a keen example of it. If he was still around... he would have gotten himself in so much trouble, but because he had the audacity to die of, was it lung cancer? I can't remember. It was definitely to do with smoking. But yeah, there's so many things where you go back and you go, I'm glad he's not around to be talking anymore.
Yeah,
I just want to know what it is that JK doesn't like, or what she can't understand about like trans men and women and just transgender in general. Like what it is that she's
Lindsay
scared
Ellis did a great video about a theory on it, which is about the portrayal of trans people in film, and about how damaging it has been over the years. And it's sort of it talks about I've forgotten the name of the fucking film, Jodie Foster, serial killer, Silence of the Lambs. And about how in that they actually go to great lengths to say, when someone says, oh, it's a transsexual doing this, and she goes, well, actually, no. They're not doing the crimes because they are transgender. They are doing the crimes because they are a psychopath. You know, and it's sort of, but I'd suggest checking that out. I think it was called The Root of Transphobia in Film, something like that. It's a Lindsay Ellis one from a few months back. But I don't know how the Christ we got onto this. I don't know, but it's good stuff, good shit.
It is.
See, like you're bringing this podcast into a higher level, Edward.
Thank you. But no, I was just gonna say, like, I've got trans friends now as well, or I have people like on social media who I've interacted with who are trans, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, like I can't, because I would love to go back to the tour and do that again, but then at the same time I'm like, no, because that goes in her back pocket. Yeah. So she's going to get the money regardless. I'm then supporting her cause.
The shit that you have to put up with online if you're not a cis, straight, white guy is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenally awful. Like, it's... I mean, even we have to put up with shit. Like, and that... When the stuff that we have to put up with, and then the bar of how much higher it gets, it just being a woman, just being black, just being... trans or gay, or it's. When I say we, I mean myself in the sort of the royal we. But it's a cesspit out there. So listen to the podcast instead. We can do readings. We can read better books. I can try and do a Stephen Fry voice reading.
We'll just rewrite it and make it better. Like, I actually did watch. It might be the same video that I've watched, because I did watch one a while ago where the narrator, whoever it was making the video on YouTube, was like, effectively, J.K. Rowling has written a very white, like, novel in the 90s that's at that time that has not translated well further down the line.
Yeah,
and then also with the books that she wrote under a different name, the killer's always a man in a dress.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In the Cormoran strike, that's what they call. Yeah. Because that's mentioned in the Lindsay Ellis thing, where it's like, Jesus Christ, she's got.
I didn't know that.
There's a fixate. Yeah, it is. That it's worth watching the Lindsay Ellis video because you sort of go, fuck me. But the audacity of a woman who pretended to be a man to write so that people would buy her books.
I know.
There's only one person pretending here, and it's you, Joanne.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know. She's still doing it under that name, isn't she? I think
but even like the
JK
Rowling was to make her sound like a man as well. But then whatever. What is the other name she used? The Cormac Strike. Robert Galbraith, who is named after a doctor who used to experiment. I can't remember. This is probably a legal thing, but the way she got the name from, she named like a doctor or something, and people did research and were like, "Oh, he's a horrible sort of Nazi doctor." That's great. There's a lot to go. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack with it. You're like, maybe just stop, Joanne. You are a billionaire. You can just stop.
It's the same argument with Psycho, because I love Psycho.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, Norman Bates, right at the end of the film, turns up dressed as his mother. Is that transphobic? And I remember
that's in the film video. Yeah. That's she sort of goes.
And I remember doing my dissertation, and there was a whole book written about whether or not Hitchcock was gay, and I was like, what's that got to, like? Why does that even matter?
Yeah.
But then, I mean, Rope. If you've seen the film Rope, which I had to talk about for my dissertation, that is about two men. They are queer. They are coded as queer men because they're like, oh, let's hide the body, and they're like, oh, how did it feel when you did that? It's like coding for gay sex, basically.
Yeah.
And with her, woo. Sorry.
I find that's interesting as well because there's a lot of times in this over the past where we've sounded like just a Lindsay Ellis sort of fan cast, which we have to not be. But there's that about queer coding in cinema. Maggie Mae Fish is great at it as well. If anybody watched Maggie Mae Fish stuff, queer coding in cinema, about how queer coding means bad. Like how I think of all the Disney bad guys in the '90s, and they are queer coded in some way. Like Scar, Ursula.
She's a drag queen. She's divine. I've seen this video.
Ursula's even is just based on divine. Yeah. But it's like even just basic villains. Scar. It's just like they're a bit gay. It's sort of.
I mean, Halloween's quite. Yeah.
So on.
That's
Jafar is massively gay.
Yeah. What did Ollie say though?
I was just saying, like, Halloween's quite big in the gay community for those reasons because a lot of the villains are sort of.
Because it is sort of finding your own. Weirdly, to circle around a little bit, I watched a video about Arcane, and then there was a video addendum to that about Vi and Caitlin in Arcane. Which I don't want to go too much into because I want you to watch it and be like the same as me and go, oh my god. But in that it was saying about how they haven't queer coded the villains in that, but also the fact that every frame where they're clearly in love with each other has been found, and it's because gay representation or queer representation is so low that she says you will go at it like bloodhounds until we find something. So we will find a frame where they're holding each other, or the bit where they're shot at by not Powder. What's her name later on? Jinx. They're shot at by Jinx, and there's one frame where Vi gets in front of the bullets to shield and all that, and it's like I didn't spot this, but it says the queer community will find it. Damn it, because we will go through that with a tooth comb.
Fine comb. Yeah.
And it did make me laugh. It's weird about the separating the art from the artist thing. We discussed this a couple of episodes ago about Hitchcock. Weirdly.
Well, okay.
And about because we were talking about what director were we talking about, Ollie? And you were sort of saying, or was it about? It might have been about Kubrick actually, wasn't it? It was. We were talking about Kubrick and how he got his because you were saying it was the Doctor Sleep thing where you said Doctor Sleep was better than The Shining. That was it. And we were you were saying about how the way the way that it upset Mason at the time as well.
This is why I drink.
But we've been going on for a while. No, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm just remembering we had the discussion about separating art from the artist there with Kubrick and his odd ways of directing and Hitchcock's horrendous sort of in times ways of directing.
Tippi Hedren, The Birds, that whole Marnie.
Yeah. I had a similar thing with Charlie Chaplin when I was doing my Charlie Chaplin dissertation. Like, man, there's some dark shit with that guy.
Yeah, well, that whole era as well. When you start reading about like Fatty Arbuckle and things like that, you go, oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Fascinating era. Like
fascinating. Oh, phenomenally fascinating era. But it's sort of.
I would love to sit down and have a chat with Charlie Chaplin just to like.
What's the bad news for you?
No, but like there's some brain.
We should do a séance. We should do a séance to try and get Charlie Chaplin.
The live séance of Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah. But I do believe in redemption of character in terms of like.
I thought you were going to say I do believe in ghosts, and I was like, we know you do, Ollie.
We're all gathered round the table and we've got his cane and his hat in the middle, and we're holding hands. Someone's putting the lights on and off.
Yeah. No,
Someone has to be I've forgotten his name now. Derek Acora. Who's going to be Derek Acora?
Oh, the late Derek Acora.
Yeah, or is he? Who knows?
Who knows?
Oh my god.
What's that again?
Ollie didn't know. This is early Rogue Specs lore, but Ollie didn't know who Derek Acora was. So this is a deep dive episode. I love this. We're going back across.
If I sat down with Hitchcock now, I'd be like, why?
Why?
That'd be my first question. Why? Why did you need to torture Tippy for like one small scene that was like 20 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the same with Quentin and the fact that he was like, yeah, I'm just going to strangle you in this scene, and then if you die, then I'm, liable for that. Why?
Oddly enough, there was a Corridor Crew video a few months back that really, really annoyed me. Like, I really got annoyed with where they were talking about, and this was before what you're immediately going to think of. But they were talking about how, I don't know if it was them, it was the guy they had on, but it was like, we always use blank firing guns on set. We never use airsoft because the actors aren't scared enough of airsoft. And I sent it to you two, didn't I? I remember this. Yeah. And I was like, I disagree with this fundamentally because that's how Brandon Lee died, A. B, you know what? They can act scared. That's their job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know what? I'd rather them act scared than be actually scared that I'm going to kill. And then obviously the horrendous thing that happened on there, was it Rust? It was called, wasn't it?
Rust.
That horrible, the poor girl that was killed by I was going to say
DOK.
misfire, but I don't even know if it is a misfire. Yeah, the DOK.
Alec Baldwin.
That whole thing at the time, and you don't want to say I told you so because it's horrible, but I was like, no, I'd never. There's no way I'd work with blanks on set in that way, and it's sort of that sort of putting people in date, like you say with Quentin Tarantino, who is a very talented man, but a lot of people, especially and like method actors as well, where they go, oh no, I have to do this to get into the role, and it's like, wait, why? Why do you need to do that?
Yeah,
why do you need to choke? What's her
work.
name? The lady, I forgot her name. The German
Lady Gaga.
Oh, did you choke Lady? Oh.
No, with House of Gucci, she was like, yeah, I went completely method and stayed in character for the duration of filming, which I got for the Italian accent, but the rest of it, I was like, why? Like, again, why?
I always like that Jared Leto put all that
Jared
effort
Leto is like the twat.
All that effort he put into doing the Joker and then was immediately forgotten. It's so wonderful. Anyway, that's
the Joker was a good film.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
With Joaquin
Joker
Phoenix,
was a good film.
With
I've still not seen it based on.
Joker.
It's so good.
It's good. I've got issues with that Joker film in terms of.
Oh, do you?
But like, I like.
I really enjoyed it.
I like it, and my mum really liked it for some reason as well, which is.
Your mum liked it.
Yeah, like I was just showing it to my dad, and my mum was just happened to be sat in the thing. She had no intention of watching it, and she got absorbed into it.
It's pretty
like,
dark.
I was just like, Mum, this is not the sort of film you normally watch. And she was like, yeah, no, I'm getting into it though. I was like, okay. Fair. And so it does do something.
I prefer the original Taxi Driver.
I always say watch watch King of Comedy as well, but like that's another thing as well.
Yeah.
But no, and I it's a comic book film that hates its genre, which I.
Yeah, you know what? I sort of agree with you on that because all of the interviews, was it Todd Phillips? All of his interviews, I was like, "Oh, you are so up your own arse about this."
Yeah.
It's just it's a film about a clown.
Yeah, that's what
you're like.
Yeah, that's what I loved about that Watchmen series so much is because they embraced the comic.
I still need to watch
but
that.
Like they
Ollie, Ed Crook's in that. My actor from Fingerprint.
Oh yeah,
he's in Watchmen.
Oh right, who's he in Watchmen? Is he the police officer?
No, he plays the butler, and he throws a tomato in Jeremy Irons' face.
Oh, him! That's cool. Yeah, now I
Amazing.
recognise him. Yeah.
That's him. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Oh, Jeremy Irons is so good in that series. Yeah.
Jeremy Irons is good in everything.
He's great. Yeah.
Even when he rips his vocal cords and then turns into Jim Cummings for the last bit of Be Prepared, like we both discovered recently.
Yeah. That's a fantastic thing. But yeah, no, just where was my point going again?
No one ever knows.
Nobody's ever known on this, Ollie.
Do you want some Deadpool?
Do you want to buy
I got some X-Men here.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about how it was a thing that I hated his genre and stuff like that. I'm not allowed to talk about Spider-Man yet, am I?
Oh, you know what? You know what, Ollie? It's Christmas time, so why don't you talk about it without ruining it?
No, because like it's hard for me to even talk about. I'll save it for the new year.
Let us all remember that I said he could talk about
wow.
it. Let us all remember that I said he could talk about it, and he
Oh
decided
yeah,
not to.
I'm watching it tomorrow. So.
That's my Christmas present.
I will just say one thing. I've never seen an audience like it.
Pissed as a fart, were they?
No, everyone was quite happy. I'm
racist, were they? Oh, it was all well and good until they started goose stepping down the aisle.
Were there beads?
Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles. I don't know why they're Nazis. I decided they were Nazis, and I just went with it.
Yeah. Other film review. I'd say West Side Story. Very good, extremely well choreographed, well made, executed. I think it's superior to the original. A lot of people go the original doesn't have anything wrong with it. There's no need to improve it. Well, there's a lot. There's a lot. Yeah,
a lot of white guys playing Hispanic guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of actors with darkened skin in that. There's quite a few issues, and I was just like,
there is. You go back and watch it, you go, fucking hell.
Yeah. So this is a version that's superior, I think, in every setting, but
not that I want to start a debate or anything, but is it not a bit problematic that they're putting Ansel Elgort on all of the marketing for it, and you know.
Yeah, there's that, but it's one of those things where he was cast before all those allegations were made.
But do you not find it weird that they still there's so much stuff that was just about? And I know he plays Tony in it, but it's sort of like.
Yeah,
it is a difficult position.
That's a whole marketing. When you're trying to sell a film,
it's not on Daddy Spielberg. Is that what you're trying to say?
No,
it wasn't on Daddy Spielberg.
Well, not on. It's not actually. But like,
he can't sing for shit. I've seen the clips where he's singing. He cannot.
Oh no,
sing.
I disagree. He's good in it. Like,
it's you and Simon Mayo and literally nobody else on it.
Yeah, me and Simon Mayo agree with that. Like, I was just like,
have you listened to the Kermode and Mayo one about it?
Yeah.
Mayo just keeps going.
I love Kermode and Mayo. Yes.
Yeah, I know you are because you were on their podcast. Yeah, I was on a podcast with Jack Howard and Mark Kermode. I'm Ollie.
He doesn't like it when good things happen to us, does he, Ollie?
No.
It was the best day of Ollie's life.
Wait, what's a good thing that happened to you?
Well, when I got my new job.
I was very congratulatory about that.
Yeah, we were very happy about that.
What are you talking about? He's trying to stir up shit, he is.
You just sometimes mention
I'm not the one
like,
who... listen, I was very happy when you got the new job. I was very happy about the relationship. It was Ollie that said you'd found an exotic woman.
It was...
I was joking at the time.
Were you?
It was all said in love.
I'm here for Ed's face in a minute. It was. It went, with your exotic girlfriend from a faraway land.
She does listen to this more than you do, Ollie, so...
Why? Because she's listened to one of them.
Hi, Christina.
No, she's listened to every one, I think. But,
hope you're all right.
I wonder how many exotic ladies are listening.
Exotic lady, fucking hell!
I know.
Look out for the cancel party.
I'm sorry, Christina.
Yeah, it wasn't me that said it. I'm just repeating what Ollie said in a different episode. That's all I'm doing. Oh my god, we've been going for an hour and 44 minutes.
We'd all be cancelled.
So let's keep going, folks.
I don't think I've got anything else. I do have something to talk about. Ollie,
you don't have to. Video? You don't have to.
I do. I'm not going to talk long because it'll make me sad. Ollie, can you say video games for me for a minute?
Video games.
Right, I've finished Halo Infinite, right?
Right. Was it not good?
Right.
I've heard good things.
Well, it's fine.
Why are you sad? What's going on?
It's fine.
Why are you
It's
sad?
fine for the first act and the first part of the second act. Unfortunately, that's where the game ends. There is no third act. There is no second. It just stops. I wish I was recording at the time because I thought, this is really starting to go somewhere. And then it went Halo Infinite. And I went, Like, I started laughing because I was like, I cannot believe the game has just finished. There's nothing in it. Nothing has happened.
Maybe there's some DLC.
I saw someone on Twitter say, Jesus, the game between Halo 5 and Infinite must have been really good. Because all you do is find out about what happened just before the game started. And you're like all the main characters who don't even show up, none of them show up. Nobody you've ever met before is in this game other than the Master Chief and Cortana. And Master Chief says like 3 lines because that's what the Master Chief does. I just cannot. I'm just in the week since it. I think I messaged you. I said it feels great, but it needs to start going somewhere soon. Like I can feel the sort of build up. It'd be nice if we got to where it was building up to. And then the credits happen. I cannot express enough that it just stops. The game just stops, and it's open world for some reason, and it's like Titanfall, but not as good because they try and put bits of Titanfall in. And I'm so upset.
Really?
Oh, it's not good. It's got it's you know what, it's not. The problem is it's not bad. It's just nothing. It's just nothing. It's just a game of boring. Like it's good stuff in it.
Is it the worst one? Is it
sounds like the Avengers game I've been playing. Like,
is it the worst one? Do you know what? This is almost going back to the Last Jedi versus Rise of Skywalker thing, which is Halo 5 was a trash fire, but it felt like they were trying to do something. Like Halo 5 is rubbish. It is genuine. It's one of the worst. It probably is the worst one. But it like stuff happens in it at least. It's like watching The Room versus watching paint dry. At least The Room stuff is happening in it. You know what I mean? It's that kind of.
That's such a good comparison.
But that's what it was, and it's like, and I'm so sorry because I've stuck with Halo for forever, and actually it was decades. Like what 2001, the first one, 20 years.
God.
And it's just, I've thought about it all week because at the time I found it funny. I was like, of course it ended just as it started getting interesting. But I just sort of like I've said on here many times. My favourite one by far is ODST, which is non-linear, but does non-linear well. This one did non-linear terribly. It was just it was like if you've ever played any of the word. It was like tell you what it was. It was like a Far Cry game where it's just nothing much was happening in it. Now I like a couple of the Far Cry games, but most of them are just here is a map. You have to collect a bunch of shit. Occasionally, story will happen. End credits.
Yeah,
that's what Far Cry is for the most part. Now there's like Far Cry 5, which had a cool ending. Far Cry 3, which was genuinely a great game, and then for all the rest are just sort of stuff. Like here's a game full of stuff. Does that count as game design? No, it's just we're putting stuff in a map for you to find. Occasionally you'll find an audio log telling you about this massive battle that the UNSC had just before this game started, and you go, I wish I could play that. I thought, because it was all talking about the Infinity and the Arbiter and all of these characters that are in other games, and you think they're going to come back for the third act. They have to. All this setup, it's going to come back and there's going to be a massive battle at the end, and it's going to be an ending, a great ending to the series. And it ends on a to be continued. This is supposed to be the last one.
Clearly not.
It's not like Halo 3. Halo 3 ends with a slightly open ending.
It's like
but it still ends. There's still an ending.
Dune, where you go like, this is just the beginning.
You know if Dune had ended, like just as the attack started when the Harkonnens were attacking.
Oh right, yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine it stopped there in the story. That's what it felt like. Like I was like, something like this. There's a secret they find in the Halo. And it sort of harkens back to one of the books I must have read about a decade ago, and I was like, "Wow, this is a hell of a deep dive." But they don't cover it. They say, "Oh, we're going to wake this thing up." Credits, like literally. I mean, it just stops. It just, Anyway, Halo. So 3 out of 5, I guess.
Does anyone remember Time Splitters? That was
Time
a good
Splitters.
game.
Do you know what city Time Splitters was made in?
Which one?
Nottingham. Yeah, Time Splitters 2 especially definitely was. I don't know, but I think the next one's being made here as well.
Are they doing a 4?
I'm sure I've not just made that up.
It's been rumoured for years, but they never confirmed it.
I think it was.
I played that before Halo, like years before Halo. And
Time Splitters is a great game.
Oh, so good.
It is a great game.
Yeah.
I always like the fact that you could
2,
see the guns
3.
but not the hands, so it was just like a gun hovering at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah, Halo I only came to, actually, truth be told, in 2008. So actually, I came to Halo 3 first, then I played the other two, then I played ODST, then I played Reach, and they're the great ones. And then there's Halo 4, which was fine. People treat it like it's like Force Awakens, where they go, "Oh no, all the new trilogy's shit," and I go, "No, Halo 4 was good. It tried to do something." And it's and it's actually heartbreaking when Cortana dies at the end. Spoiler warning: she doesn't, because for some reason she's still alive. But at the end of Halo 4, she dies, and it's actually a bit heartbreaking, you know. And this sort of stuff going on. I'm going to stop talking about it. I said I was going to do it quickly, but I needed you to know that this has been on my mind for a week since I finished it.
Wow.
Yeah, and it breaks my heart to say it. It's like with Doctor Who. I've stuck with these things through where I'm like, okay, this one's shit, but the next one can be good.
Yeah.
And like in the process of making this one, loads of stuff. I mean, we were talking about all the sort of background stuff you find out about filmmaking. That sort of the game industry is rotten with it, and it has been for years of sort of overwork and and crunch and and by all accounts, Halo Infinite was made under those conditions. Bungie, who used to make Halo and make Destiny now, there was a huge story released about their poor working conditions there. The one some of the ones with the worst ones are like forgotten the name of they're doing the Star Wars game now. What are they called, Ollie? The people with David Cage, Quantic Dream, who've got so many allegations of homophobia, of sex, all sorts of horrendous stuff going on. And I remember, of course, he's Elliot Page, but at the time when Elliot Page was in that game that I cut Beyond Two Souls, and David Cage was like, "I can't be homophobic. I'm friends with Ellen Page," and it was like, even then, it was like, "That's what?"
It was like when Kevin Spacey tried to excuse his actions by saying like, "I'm gay now," but like that doesn't. No, you still did those things.
The gay community does not want you, so please
we do not want you.
Still said those things.
We have rejected your application.
No, we reviewed your application and discovered you're a nonce, so no, thank you.
Yeah. Your card has been destroyed.
Please destroy your card. Hand in your badge and your weapon.
Hand it over. Go away.
Other video game news. I because of Arcane, played Dishonored again. Apparently, a lot of people have bought Dishonored because of Arcane.
Oh, really?
Dishonored has nothing to do with Arcane, but it has the same art style, and a lot of people didn't want to play League of Legends, so they just bought Dishonored, which I find very funny. And I bought Dishonored 2, which is not as good, but I'm playing through it at the minute. Bless you, Oliver George.
Thank you.
Right. Shall we, boysies, do some recommendations and then get on with our lives? Mason, how we end, Ed? Oh, have you got a recommendation?
No, but I've got some news.
Oh, sorry, you can't carry on. Carry on, Ed.
No, it's all right. Nothing like big, but I was just going to say, because obviously we were talking about films and stuff earlier. I've just literally today, submitted Fingerprick for the BFI Flair Film Festival.
Oh.
I know, in London.
Oh, you heard it here first.
I'm sure Ollie probably knows this already. It takes place in March every year, so hopefully I'll find out if there's anything going on with that.
Noise.
But I think a whole panel of juries watch it, so I'm like, oh god, please.
Big dogs. We're the big dogs now.
Yeah.
No, BFI Flair's a big festival, so it'd be great if you go.
Is it at the BFI South Bank? Because Ollie, have we figured out where that is yet?
I stayed around the corner from there recently, so if we're not locked down, touch wood we're not, then I hope they will go if it gets submitted. If not, then I don't know. But then there's a few of the Iris. Have you guys heard of Iris Prize Film Festival?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I think that I don't want to say it will it not be, but one of the film I'm working on at the minute, I'm sure he was to do with Iris. I might be wrong. I don't want to sort of say someone got something when they didn't. But I've read it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they followed me on Twitter as well.
Oh, very nice.
Out. So I'm like, there's another one. So yeah, just film festivals. But
get them sent in. Get them entered.
Nice.
But then, Ollie, what were you going to say? Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh no, I was just talking about BFI Flair, but it's nothing major. It's all good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You still look like a Fremen with the reflection on your glass, Ollie.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I can't. I don't know.
It doesn't do it with me. Look, mine's all sort of.
No, you've got your ring light going on, and you look like the Mysterons is happening in
the
your.
Mysterons. I was doing the Mysterons.
Oh God!
I love that me and you just only ever seem to reference Jerry Anderson.
Oh yeah.
Is it because Ollie said he didn't know any Thunderbirds, and we were just like, right, well, that's our reference then.
That's our thing. That's our thing.
Right, shall we get on to recommendations then? Now that we've had that. You'll have to keep us up to date with that, Ed, as well. We'll keep it.
I will. Also, for international listeners, Fingerprick is on BBC Art's Twitter and Facebook pages, so that's where you can find it. Obviously,
okay.
It's not out yet. It's just in the UK. It's been out, so nowhere internationally. So
we'll put the link on the
Twitter. Might be easier.
Yeah, we'll put the tweet on the thingy. What's it called? The description box for this.
Yeah. So
people can check that out. That's great. It's nice having someone professional on, isn't it? Who knows what they're talking about. not the usual bullshit that we talk.
I try.
Okie dokie. Ollie, do you want to go first with your recommendation?
No, don't ask me first. I'm terrible.
Christ,
I've
okay.
got many things, but too many things.
Okay, Mason, do you have something to
I
recommend?
do have something, because I remember, listening back to our Christmas one last year, I think we must have recorded that quite early in December, because we were talking about our favourite Christmas films, and I didn't mention one. I must have watched it after we recorded. It was one I've been meaning to watch for years. Finally got round to it last year. It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah, it was
lovely
fantastic.
Film. I love that
Everything
film so
I
much.
expected and more.
The original.
Yeah.
That's a long film.
It is a long film, but it is a great film.
But
it is good
75 years ago it came out.
75 years.
Yeah. 1946.
1946.
Jimmy Stewart.
Stewart plays George Bailey.
Of course, it's after the war, because they show the war in it, don't they? Yeah,
they do, yeah. He's sort of down on his luck. He feels suicidal. He doesn't want to live anymore. And this angel comes to him, Clarence. And tries to show him a world without him in it. And
it's sort of an opposite of A Christmas Carol, isn't it? Now I think about it.
It is, yeah.
Sort of the way it's showing
But
it is a great film.
It's fantastic.
It was a very Christmas. My dad showed me that when I was about 15, I think.
Yeah.
He just said, "Sit down, you're watching this."
No, it's amazing.
I watched that for the first time in our last year at uni. I did a whole Christmas. Yeah, so in our end of semester A, towards the end, I was just doing a marathon of Christmas films. Do you remember Box of Broadcast?
Yeah.
Yes. I've still got access to that because I'm a student.
Do you?
I watched Blade Runner on it.
God.
I miss Box of Broadcast.
They brought it up on my course, and I was like, I've got this, fam. I'll tell you how to use this.
I'm so jealous.
It's so good.
So good. But yeah, I sat and watched it on there, and I was like, this is great. Very long though.
It is. It's a long film.
But definitely one of my new favourite Christmas films.
That's a good call. That is a very good call. Very classic. Of the season as well.
Thought I'd do that.
Yeah. Oliver, do you have? If you, what we do, Ed, is we do recommendations at the end. So if you've got one for after Ollie, I don't. Yeah, sorry if you don't. Yeah. You don't have to have one. I tend to make it up in the last second because I always forget. Ollie, go.
It's another old film, sort of like a Christmas adjacent film. It's called The Apartment. It won the Academy Award back in 1961. It stars Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine. It's basically about a sort of Manhattan insurance clerk who works his way up to the company by letting his apartment out to his upper bosses to have extramarital affairs in his apartment. So he basically lets his
sounds very Christmassy.
Yeah, he lets his apartment out so his bosses can come and use his flat to.
And then one day, a woman with child arrives on a donkey, and there is no room at the inn, so he lets them have the apartment.
Well, it's not really a Christmassy. So it's one of those films that takes place at Christmas. So a lot of it's at the Christmas party. It's a really good story. It's just got a lot of charm. Shirley MacLaine's lovely in it. It's just funny as well. I watched it and just had this real feel good feeling about it. Highly recommend The Apartment. It's got some sad, melancholy moments in it, but I think it overcomes them, and it's one of those films that sort of lifts the spirits, I'd say. So if you're looking for a good Christmas watch, check out The Apartment.
I love a Christmas watch.
Very nice.
With candy canes for hands.
Fuck's sake. That's a worse dad joke than any of his ones. I've got two, because actually, what I was going to say, I've only watched part one so far, but I've watched part one of Get Back on Disney Plus.
Oh,
the Beatles documentary.
Oh yeah.
It's just,
I need to find a time to watch it.
There's a lot of it, but it's phenomenal. You just sit there going, oh my god. I like it because what my dad was saying about it is it debunks a lot of myths about the Beatles, which I love, because there's that whole thing that it's been debunked for years anyway, but people still say it. Where about the whole Yoko split up the Beatles thing, where she in it she's shown as being very friendly with all of them, like she's mates with all of them, really.
Yeah.
Like the tension is there with John and Co and like that, but it's wonderful because none of them, they all get the limelight at some point. It focuses on them. George, it shows just what a phenomenal songwriter George was, what a phenomenal songwriter all of them were. But the other thing it debunks is that as many people, one of the things I do, I follow a lot of musicians on Twitter and on YouTube and everything like that, and if you ever follow a drummer, all of them almost universally will say, take this idea that Ringo was a bad drummer and bin it. It's just because of one throwaway joke that John Lennon made once about he's not even the best drummer in the Beatles. He's actually he's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal musician. Very nice man by all accounts as well. I always love that The Simpsons episode where he goes, no, I must reply to all of my fan mail. But in that, they sort of they'll all the three vocalists / guitarists will all talk to each other constantly about what they're doing, but they always go, and then we'll leave Ringo to figure out the rest, and Ringo will just do all the beat himself. He's just there. He's the beat section. He figures the rest out, and it is wonderful to see that it wasn't Lennon and McCartney. As much as Lennon and McCartney were the wordsmiths for the most part, it's just a wonderful thing to behold. And once again, Jackson's very good at finding. It's like this wasn't to do with Jackson, but the Apollo. To me, it's the same as the Apollo 11 documentary, which is somehow we're looking at a new angle on something that we thought we already knew.
Yeah.
With beautiful footage, with archive stuff. Like, it won't win any awards because apparently the Academy don't like archive footage.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious considering their views. But there's a dad joke. There's one for you, Mason. The other thing, this is just a casual thing. Just because you said It's a Wonderful Life, and the one you said, Ollie, The Apartment, is a few months ago, and I said this to you too as well. I didn't mention it on air. I rewatched my dad's favourite film in the world. One of them is It's a Wonderful Life. The one that is his favourite is Casablanca, which I've always dismissed as sort of, because my dad had it on a lot when I was a kid, and I didn't really pay attention. And I only rewatched it as an adult this year, and I was watching it going, "This is a masterpiece. This is such a good film." And I think because it's Christmas time, just stick Casablanca on if you want. It doesn't matter if you don't like old films, or whatever. But the context of it, the thing that I found really emotional watching it, and I actually genuinely felt quite emotional about it, is the La Marseillaise scene where they're singing the French national anthem louder than the Germans are singing. And when you think about the fact this was made during the occupation of France.
Yeah.
So I just think, can you imagine just being French and being a refugee somewhere, or living like in America or Britain like as a refugee, and then watching it and going, and the bit where they're all stood up singing Vive la France, La Marseillaise louder than the Germans. I was like, dude, this is it. It yanks at your heartstrings. I was like, Jesus Christ. You want to follow the guy into battle at the end of it. You're like, yeah, I'll follow you. But Casablanca, if you've never seen it, please watch it, because I, for some reason, have put it off until I was 29 to watch it properly. And I did. I phoned my dad immediately. I went, oh my, I get it.
Yeah, I've seen it once, but I've seen it years ago. I need to rewatch it, to be honest. So,
it's worth a watch.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
The degree to which that, because my dad always said, "Oh, Rick in it," because I was talking about propaganda once at uni, I think, and I came home and said, "Oh, like Casablanca is propaganda." And I was expecting my dad to sort of go, "It's not, it's great." And he was like, "Yeah, it's obviously propaganda. It's so obviously aimed at the American audience to be like, your city, like Rick is America. Like, he's so obviously supposed to be America in it. Like, by the fact, I mean, spoiler warning, but he joins the Allies by the end of it. But it's just such a great sort of like, and like, what's he called? Claude Rains. Is Claude Rains? I can't remember. But it's so good. Please watch Casablanca. Is what I'm basically trying to say. And the context for you, I'll give you, is set in French Morocco. We'll go with Morocco. The port of Casablanca, which is a Vichy France colony during the Second World War, and the Germans are muscling in, and because it's neutral, French people are using it as a way to escape to the Allies, to America, to Britain, to all that. And it's in I'm sure it was released in 1941. Or was it filmed in 1941 and released in 1942? I can't remember. Basically, I think it was released just in time for America to already be in the war, but it was just enough time where people were like, yes, yes, and it's quite rightly remembered as a classic, I think. But anyway, that's me. I'm going to stop talking about that now. But yeah, Ollie, definitely watch it. Oh, I can't remember what we were going to call this episode. I'll have to listen to it again.
Anything that you would like to recommend, Ed?
Yeah, so 4 recommendations.
4?
Oh my god. First one is sanitize your hands, wear a mask, get vaccinated, and then watch Klaus on Netflix.
Oh, I love Klaus!
Last year, and I loved it.
Klaus is so good.
This is so good.
Yeah.
But also, Muppets Christmas Carol, can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think I've talked to you guys about this before. I quite like the Polar Express. It's so like Marmite. People
My dad loves it. I'm like,
don't get it. Don't hate. I don't know what it is, whether it's really creepy, but I just really like that film.
Uncanny Valley.
I love the hot chocolate scene.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's not worked for me as much as it has over the years, because I used to really love it as a kid, but it's sort of gone off for me a little bit.
Ollie made me watch it after Christmas last year or the year before.
Oh, I like that film.
Oh, I didn't like it.
I don't know why you don't like
The Holiday.
It's so charming.
I didn't like James McAvoy yelling at me for an hour, and then but my favourite thing is the product placement of Co-op in it, which I still can't get over.
I know.
There's a bit where the Co-op's in it. I was like, why is the Co-op? And the post
it's
office.
just a random Co-op. Yeah.
It's so weird. I was like, why is that there? But yeah,
I love The Holiday as well. That's become a favourite as well for me to watch.
Yeah. The Holiday is interesting because is that the one where one goes to America, one goes to Britain? Yeah. For some reason, every girl I knew in Canada loves that film. And every time I took a photo of a house in Britain, they'd go, "Oh, it's like Kate Winslet's house in The Holiday." And I'm like, "Is it?"
I love it for
is it really?
I love it for all the Eli Wallach stuff. I think it's. I think that.
Oh yeah, he's the old man in it, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah. Muppets Christmas Carol, you can't beat it. It's just such a charming.
Can't beat it.
I can't wait. I hope. Right. So Disney the chap that directed it, Brian Henson, found.
I know where this is going.
A cut of so they found the original 4K, the negative of When Love Is Gone.
I used to have that on video.
Yes,
that version.
Because it was on the video version, but it wasn't in the theatrical cut because test audiences were thought it's going to be too boring for kids. I've always hated that they cut it out because in a musical sense, it makes sense that it's for the emotional arc of the film. It's such an important song, and they call back to her as a motif in the end of the film. The love we found.
Have test audiences ever gotten it right?
Never.
Because I don't know any stories where they've gone, test audiences hated this, and therefore we got rid of it, and it was the right decision.
Shove it up their thing, but it's basically So they've restored it, and they're planning to release a version of the Muppet Christmas Carol with the song restored in it. And recently, apparently, it premiered at the Royal Albert Hall when they were playing Muppet Christmas Carol. The concert.
Oh, I did hear that. Yeah.
So I'm hoping to God, Disney, right? If you're listening, please put that on Disney Plus in the next few.
They're not listening.
They're not listening.
Who's he talking to?
Hello, Disney. I'm just speaking to you.
Oh, please commission me.
Yeah.
Hang on, I've just realised I can look down on. It's like University Challenge. Like, hello.
Oh yeah. Hello. I don't know what that was. Sorry.
Buxton, Lincoln. Anyway.
Oh god. Well, it's been fun, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has been. It's been mad. I'm
great.
sorry. I don't know how well I'll edit around it, but about halfway through that, I had a horrible coughing fit and had to go upstairs and just not be well for about 5 minutes.
I think
which, unfortunately, because it was during Arcane, which is the thing I wanted to talk about. But I'm sure me and Ollie will find time to talk about it again in the future.
Yeah.
We'll probably do another New Year's wrap up like we normally do, where we talk about our top
That is true.
of the years and stuff like that. Like,
but we should first of all thank Ed Buxton for coming on and raising this out of the gutter for one episode. back in the gutter next episode. Don't worry, lads. If you like the gutter, we'll be back there. We're all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars, as Oscar Wilde said.
And if you'd like to promote a short film on our podcast, feel free to.
Why not? If you want to promote one of your thing, you want to come on and talk about, we'll be like Corridor Crew.
Yeah.
You want to come on and talk about your film or anything like that, you do it.
Yeah.
I know no one will, but people, if you know us, just come on, talk about your nice day you had. I don't care.
Ed, you're always welcome back on the podcast.
Talk about your lunch.
As well.
Yeah, Ed, you're always welcome back.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to come back.
We'll have to wait until the Doctor Who thing comes out again, so we can have a bitch about it.
Yeah.
We'll have to make you watch it. We'll have to come around and go, watch it now.
I'm like, oh god.
At least it's only specials. Now that you have to watch.
I mean, to be fair, it looks quite interesting. So I was like, I might watch that. But we shall see. But yeah, I'd love to come back on. Reminisce about old times.
We'd love to have you back on at some point. We ought to do a sort of retrospective of Five Specs as well. Or do like do. I have the commentaries from the Fantastic. I found them on a hard drive. So maybe we should do a live watch, like Mystery Science Theatre. Science Theatre, where we're sat watching the Fantastic and going, look, there's Mason in the background.
There's that time when I was playing a piano and forgot to.
We remember that. Yeah. I love that moment on the bloopers because you can hear me and Ed behind the camera panicking slightly. Going,
like, Ollie!
He's not doing anything.
Ollie! Although one of my favourite moments is a story that Mason told me when Mason and Ollie were in the edit suite. Mason was like, "How green is this green, Ollie?" And Ollie was like, "Yeah, I think it was green." And then Mason's like, "I've not done anything."
It was a specific shot. It might have been the drone footage.
I was tired.
And he said, can you make it more green? And then he goes to his phone. He doesn't care what I'm doing. Doesn't give a shit. And then I was like, "What do you mean this green, Ollie?" And I was like, "Yeah, that looks a lot better." It was like, I haven't touched anything.
What you don't do is tell him that.
Yeah.
You get on with it. And I don't want to ruin it for other soundies, but that's what we do a lot of the time. we go, "How's that sound?" You go, "Great." And we go, "We didn't fucking do anything." All we did is we moved the slider up and then down again. Oh, that's perfect. It's perfect. Oh, yeah, it's perfect. Is it, you deaf boy?
Industry secrets right here on Rogue
Industry
Specs
secrets. My favourite thing was in the post section where it was me and Mason basically alone in a building for ages, just sort of making sure we were both alive every now and then. He'd come and knock on the sound theatre like, "You all right?" And then, you did it once. Breathing. You thought it was just me, but I think Bryony was asleep on the sofa.
Yeah.
And she just emerged and went, "Eh."
And
then we got in trouble.
I missed all of it.
An email went round saying that the sound theatre smelled of pizza and or Big Mac. And then I said to Mason, I was like, Mason, they know.
They're onto us.
Because there was a McDonald's only around the corner, wasn't there? We were just like, I could murder a Big Mac. We just walked around the corner and came back.
Do you remember we used to like take out Nando's?
Yeah, we used to
literally just go across the Brayford and come back again.
Yeah, literally, yeah. One of us would go across the bridge. Yeah, I want to meet up again. Next year will be the 10-year anniversary of us starting in Lincoln.
I need people to stop telling me that because it's making my bones fall apart.
Oh no, what, since we started?
Yeah,
10 years since we started next year.
Oh no. Please make it stop.
Yeah.
Time. Don't worry, I'm sure you'll be fine, but eventually everyone runs out of time.
So that'll be 9 years I knew you, Ed, and 8 years I known Alex, and 10 years I know Mason, so that'll be a bit of a...
8, 9, 10.
Fudge! Yeah.
Yep.
But trying to keep a straight face. Oh well, it has been lovely, gentle boys.
All right, let's wrap this podcast up. Merry Christmas, everyone.
It has been.
Merry
He's
Christmas.
doing it again. He's taking over again.
He always does. He always does.
I'm trying to wrap up, and he'll go.
You know why I do it? Because it fucks you up.
Wrap it up.
Look at my. You can see my laugh on the thing. Look there. Look. Oh, it's gone. Yeah, he's wrapping up. Go on then, Ollie. If you want to wrap up,
No, you wrap up. Be my guest.
Oh.
Okay. Have a nice Christmas, everybody. Have a safe Christmas. Do as Ed says. Get your hands washed. Get vaccinated. Keep your masks on. Stop moaning about keeping your masks on. Jesus Christ, it's a bit of cloth.
Bloody do your tests.
Goodwill to all men, women, and everybody else. All that. Merry Christmas. I hope Santa gives you nice PlayStation. I don't fucking care.
Have a proper crimble.
And may capitalism collapse.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas from Rogue Specs and Ed. Merry Christmas from 4 and 5 Specs. And I'm sure Bryony would say Merry Christmas as well.
Yes.
We need to get her back. We need to get her on.
I miss Friday, but yeah.
5 of us are here.
I think we'd have to genuinely restrain her to get her on this piece of shit. Bryony, if you're listening, you're not listening, but if you are, we'd love to have you on.
Yeah, come back.
We miss you. Anyway.
Right, credits.
She's the end scene. She's like the she's the Marvel Easter egg.
I'm here to talk to you about the specs.
I'm here to talk to you about five specs, and it goes Ollie, Mason, Ed, and Alex. I love that. I was going Ollie, Mason, Ed, and I was like, who's the other one? Oh, me, Alex will return. And then we're all just sat eating Nando's at the end.
The Specs Initiative. There we go.